Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Dragons and Dungeons. We're a group of us nerdy ass gamers from a player group sit around, roll some virtual dice, and play some virtual Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Matthew Mercer, and I'll be your host for this evening. No, my name's. I wish I was Matt Mercer. No, I don't actually, because then I'd be fucking. I don't know, rich and famous and be a really good voice actor. No, that actually sounds like a good idea. Maybe in a different lifetime. But anyway, new setup. I actually managed to finally get a green screen installed in my place for shenanigans and shit. So now when I'm playing Elite Dangerous and Mass Effect and shit, you'll see my head floating through space and shit like that. And I can try and make it look nice. Thanks to Adam, or Victorious in the game, who is a wizard with the Divinity 2 engine, got this really nifty background as well. So, you know, it kind of gives it that Dungeon Master-esque feel. I'm pretty sure if I... Yeah, God, no, that doesn't look right. Fuck that. I've got my background lighting so that I could change the... change it from like bright white to like a soft, like sunlight kind of glow. And I was thinking maybe it would work with the green screen, but no. I maybe kind of make it look like my face is being illuminated by the fire, but no, fuck that. That doesn't look right, and my camera's going out of focus. Fuck it. Anyway, new session. We're going to get going in just a second. So just double check everything is set up and good to go. Everyone's here, and we're going to go say hi to the guys. Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Right. First and foremost, I'm going to apologise if there's the sound of any engines flowing through my microphone, because I've got my window wide open and, you know, people, dickheads in their cars with loud engines who are compensating for something, constantly drive by my window. Anyway, last week, if you guys are all ready to go.
I would assume so.
Right, I am.
Cool.
Yep.
Right, so last week we played. You guys had encountered encountered your new party member, who was Coralina, the Air Genasi wizard, whom helped to deal with the Abishai, who were at the southern gate of Stilben, where you reunited, well, even though it was only temporarily, with Richmond. After which you had managed to make your way back to the Topaz Blade, the inn that you were staying at, where you had discovered that Tsuri, the male dwarven tavern keeper, the guy who runs the place, was actually known as the speaker for the Myriad, the one whom the Myriad's headquarters caravan, who's constantly travelling, sends their orders to. So the one person in Stilben who would have immediate access to the main personnel of the Myriad. As you entered, everything seemed to be okay. Tension was a little high in the tavern, as Talar was able to ascertain via a very high insight check. But everything seemed to be okay. You spoke to Tsuri, you had a few drinks, had a conversation for a while, and then getting to the end of your conversation, Victorious, you elected to say, what was it, the Myriad must fall?
That's correct.
In Thieves' Cant, at which point Tsuri kind of went a bit dark and warned you not to say such things. Be careful what you say. As you took a seat with your drink in hand, you heard a whisper in your ear of, this is what happens to those who go against the Myriad, as a dagger was then plunged in your back, and a swarm of individuals that, even though were dressed normally, seemed to be Myriad members who had all congregated within the Topaz Blade. A fight ensued. Tables were thrown and set on fire. You killed a lot of people. You're now battered, bruised, and almost completely exhausted. The fire is still burning. Tsuri is completely out of sight. You have no idea where he's gone, if he's even alive after the inferno has almost completely engulfed his tavern. What do you guys want to do?
Get out.
To get the out of.
Yeah, we need to leave like now.
We
I
could just
wanna
rob
see
the place a bit.
if I can get. No, sorry. Do you want to come with? I'm gonna try and get through that door behind the bar before everything collapses under the fire.
I'm gonna try and kill a dwarf.
Exactly. Track him down.
Okay.
Guys are out of your minds. I'm gonna run and kick that door down.
Okay, right. Who's wanting to go to the door first and foremost?
Temple's got a bit of a skeleton key that can open most doors.
Okay, right. So who's going to the door? Temple, you're going to the door, yeah?
We're out of time. Go.
Right. I want you to give me a dex check first, as you need to hop over this bar in this urgent situation.
Suppose I could hop over it instead of smashing through it. Now let's see. Oh, that went well.
6. Takes you a little while, but the you can see that the inferno is slowly starting to engulf the tables and chairs that are off in the distance to your far west. How are you going to open the door?
With my
Shoulder.
right boot.
Your right boot. Cool. Go ahead and give me a strength check. 13. You give it a hefty boot. The door rattles in its frame, splinters, but it's still standing.
Can I cast Mass Cure Wounds at 5th level, by the way?
Yes, that reminds me, I need to actually bring up all your character sheets. Yeah, what's the roll for a Mass Cure Wounds?
3d8 plus 2.
Yeah, go ahead and roll 3d8 plus 2. And is that for everyone, yeah?
Yep. A wave of healing energy washes out from a point of your choice within range. Choose up to 6 creatures in a 30-foot radius sphere centered on that point. Each target regains hit points equal to 3d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Cool. Everyone regains 12 HP.
Yay!
I don't suppose you've got any spell slots for a tidal wave while I get this door open, do you?
I am completely spent.
Well, I'll try the left foot then.
Alright, give me another strength check.
Ooh.
At an 11.
Run over.
Okay.
Cast a tidal wave. I was kind of hoping to let this place burn to the ground. And send
As
a message.
with that 11, you manage to. The door finally bursts in on itself. I need to actually get onto the correct setting here. The door bursts in on itself, and as you step inside, there's absolutely nothing.
Awesome. Is there a window?
There is no windows.
Oh shit.
Go ahead.
Like to do...
Whoever's inside, go. Victorious, I'll give this to you as well, since you're just outside. I'm assuming you want to go in as well. And go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Yes, not invert.
Natural 20. Okay, as you immediately start scanning over the immediate vicinity, Victorious, as you after you actually move inside the room, which I'm going to do to you like right now, so you can actually see the shit that's in there. As you're scanning to the room, you see what looks to be a trapdoor of sorts off in the top corner that is slightly ajar.
I'd like to do something to help us out a little bit in terms of where the fire's at. I have one more slot at level 2, create or destroy water. I can create up to 10 gallons of clean water, or water falls as rain within a 30-foot cube within range, which is 30 feet.
Position for tidal wave. I don't want to put the fire out, but if I just cast it over the middle of the room. About where
Okay.
the table is in front of that door.
Okay, so
Take it down a little.
both of you expend your spell slots as you create water in your is it a 30-foot cube? Sorry, Tor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Was it a 30-foot cube?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see.
Which I'm wanting to do it right about here.
Yeah. The and with your tidal wave, the flames get doused slightly, not like out. Recedes the fire back a little bit, but with the amount of flames that are in the area and the intensity of the heat coming from the center where the fire is and the heat is strongest, the water almost immediately evaporates.
Okay, it'll buy us some time though.
It'll buy some time, not much, but it was buying some time as you see the fire itself like slowly starts to billow out. Even though you've put some of it out, it starts to slowly evaporate the water that was the residual water on the floor that extinguished the previous flames and starts to reignite.
I'd like to rob as many valuables from behind the bar as I can and loot as many of these dead Marines.
All right, go ahead and roll me an an investigation check. We'll move on to Temple and Victorious while this is going down. What are you guys up to?
I'm gonna
I
shout
don't know
out the
where he
door.
went.
Got a trapdoor in here. Either go out the front or come with, but make your decisions quickly. And I am going to cast my final second level spell to find traps.
This is a way out. I'm gonna wait for them.
Okay. As you cast your spell, Victorious, there are no traps in the immediate vicinity.
In which case, I'm going to open that trapdoor.
Geronimo!
As you open the trapdoor, and Temple just immediately just dives in before you. You're just almost knocked back as you just look down and see Temple's form into the darkness. Temple, go ahead and roll me a dex save, please.
Is it a long way down?
I even have a follow-up question.
Yeah. What is your follow-up question?
It would require the save to be done first, but I'm gonna ask if I'm okay.
Yeah, it's because of rhythms. Can you use it? Yeah, never mind. It's already done it as well. No, you've done it. 5. Yeah. Nope, that's a D4. 16. 18. You take 24 points of bludgeoning damage as you drop down the 60 feet to the floor of this escape hatch and just crumple down onto the floor with a sick poof. Victorious, as Temple drops and like jumps through, you hear Geronimo. Poof. And then silence.
Okay. Is there any other means of climbing down this trapdoor shaft?
Doesn't seem to be not in the immediate vicinity. If there was something, it could have been that it's been taken down.
Okay.
Landed
Then
on something steel I landed on something. It's like a big leg.
Temple,
Oh, it's mine. It's
you're
my
right.
leg. I'm okay. I just landed on me.
So what are you doing now, Victorious?
Deep breathing, Temple. Deep breathing. Oh, you don't breathe. Never mind. Just think happy thoughts. I'm going to take my rope out of my equipment, which I believe I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to think happy thoughts.
And I am going to tie that around a couple of the table legs that are next to me as best I can.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use that to lower myself down the shaft.
All right. Cool. So, you get set up. Could you actually go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check here? And 15. You feel like the like tying it up to several of the table legs is you're going to have a drop of about 10 feet roughly, because it's only a 50-foot hempen rope. So you're going to have a bit of a drop once you get to the bottom of the rope, but you should be all right. And you feel like the table leg should hold, so long as the fire doesn't engulf the entire room and like destroy the rope. You manage to hang your way down and climb down without an issue, getting to the very bottom of the rope. So you don't get to the bottom like full body length. You actually hang yourself up using your upper body strength to get to the bottom of the rope, and then let go, dropping about 4 feet to the floor, where Temple
Can I
is.
see anything down here? Is it dark? Can I use my night vision to?
It seems to be a dark, damp tunnel of sorts. Nothing in the immediate vicinity. We'll get back up to Neftari, Coralina, and Talar. As you guys hear Victorilas call out that there is a trapdoor of sorts in the back, so you can either get out this way or get out the front door. It's your choice. As he says that, you hear a somewhere off in the distance, and you watch as the fires start to billow out once more.
Is there anything valuable down there? Speak.
Talar, what are you doing?
I wanted to go ahead and like basically crawl over the table and not do any fancy acrobatics, just climb over the table and then
Head down to the
down to
trapdoor.
the others. Yeah.
All right.
And with the last, like 4 or 5 feet or whatever, I'd like to, if there's enough room, kind of spread my wings out a little bit.
There's
to
not
kinda
enough
help.
room for that. It's a very thin. It's like a man-made escape tunnel into some kind of cave system. There's not enough room for that. So when you get to the bottom of the rope, it would just be a free drop. It's only like for you, it'd be about 3 or 4 feet. That's about it. So it wouldn't hurt you, not too much anyway.
Okay, so as she lets go of the bottom of the rope, she's gonna wrap her hand around the pouch on her chest to help keep it safe and without
hold
it
it in
jarring.
place. Yep, cool. Neftari, what about yourself? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm still trying to rub the place. I called down. Is there anything valuable now?
Yes,
Just get down here.
Temple's down here.
a shiny warforged. I
Go on,
appear
Bears,
to have
in you
fallen
go.
down a hole. I'm very badly injured.
Bears, check the pockets anyway.
Come Can you pull yourself together, Temple?
Is that a joke? Is there a punchline?
Maybe.
All right, Carlina, what are you doing at the moment?
With the whole thing of everything is catching on fire, I'm gonna go and scamper back. If Neftari is not moving, I may do something dickish, but I don't think I would do that just yet because we haven't tried to do anything to rib at each other yet. So let's see. So I will approach where I saw the large draconic figure disappear to. And see trapdoor.
Hop down.
Okay, I like bad decisions. I'll take a running leap and go and jump in there.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a dex save.
Yeah.
You know, with you must pick your words wisely. Pick and make a dex save. Ignore them, because apparently exclamation point S is for
Do I
skipping
break my
stuff.
fall on a warforged?
14.
I am ready to assist.
No, you take 4 points of fire damage as you jump in. You glance down and realize that this is a long way down. You grab onto the rope that has been left there and drag your hands down the rope burning the palms of your hands, taking 4 points of fire damage as you come to a halt, and it's just and it just burns. Neftari, what are you doing?
First,
What's going on? Just looking for the rum. Where's the bloody rum?
There is no more alcohol after the last of the alcohol was launched into the fire and used as an accelerant from last week. There isn't anything more there. You have managed to pilfer as much of that you can, but you're not able to get an accurate count of what you have at the time being, as the flames start to get a lot larger.
Okay. Can I try and carry one of these barrels and stretch that down the hole with me? Is it down there, guys?
Go ahead and roll me
Yeah,
a
all the
strength
booze
check.
down here. All the booze, Natari. All of it. It's a cellar. Beer cellar.
Okay. And then I run with the hole as well and follow the bear. I'm hoping one of the bears is going to catch me.
The bears aren't going to fit down this hatch. The bears are large creatures, and this is a hole big enough for medium-sized creatures, so these bears are not going to fit.
Sorry, guys. You better go out into the street and cause havoc. You're free now.
Okay. As Natari drops down through to the dark, deep, dank underground of this cave, as we are no longer within, we're going to head back to the main page because reasons. Now, let me get this set up. Try that. That did not work. What the hell? Why did it copy the image? I wanted the link to the actual link address. That would help if I actually did the wrong thing, the right thing. There we go. This might be loud, so I'd. It's actually super quiet.
Turn rhythm bot right down.
It's actually not that loud. It's actually kind of quiet. So as you guys finish climbing your way down into the this deep dark tunnel, does anyone who doesn't have blind sight or dark vision, you cannot see a thing. It is pitch black down here.
Which I think I can see if I remember correctly.
Guys.
What's that, Temple?
While normally I'd go storming ahead, has anyone got a potion or anything?
I need to rest for a bit, guys.
Yeah, I really stuck that landing.
Well, I was trying really hard to impress you guys, so I used everything.
No. If there was a stat for being impressed, you'd be maxing it out right now. That was very in the spirit of the Caped Crusaders.
Talar would like to. She reaches over and grabs Corlina's hands and uses first level cure wounds on her to try and heal her singed hands.
Okay, first level cure wounds. That is a D8 plus 4.
Do I get any health just by being near them?
No.
I've got some spell slots left. How about 4th level cure wounds?
There we go.
You regen 5 points of HP, Corlina, as Talar takes your hands and the soft kind of violet glow of Tseloon emanates from her hands, and you can feel the pain subside for a few moments, then completely vanish as you look to your hands, and the blisters and the raw redness on your hands is completely vanished.
That's really cool. How'd you balance out your arcane output with your lack of input?
What now?
I'm sorry?
How'd you do it?
She's referring to the vocal, somatic, and material costs of spells. As a wizard, Corlina requires a focus of some sort to be able to cast quite a lot of her spells, whereas you, just with your religious power being a cleric, that's what you use your faith in your god, or goddess in this case, to cast your spells. Corlina doesn't have that kind of ability.
I just roll a cure wound at 4th level temple.
Okay, yeah, see that. So temple, you regenerate 18 HP.
Thank you. Coralina, think of it as like casting a spell as a wizard, but cheating and having your god do it for you instead. Kinda.
So is it like a mind over matter kind of thing?
Kinda. You never seen like a sorcerer? They're sort of born with their magic, I think.
Oh, I was told they were born that way.
It's like that, but like with holy magic.
Oh.
Although I still do need, as I'm sure does Talar, certain magical items or diamonds to cast for more powerful spells.
Okay, I think I get it. It's okay. I just got this, and I have my spell book. If I don't have this, I'm pretty much useless.
And for those of you who are able to see it, Coralina just lifts up it's not a super thick, but it's quite a thick tome of
It's thick with 1C. I'm trying to get it up to like at least 4.
At least 1C at the moment, so it's about yay thick. Yay, because my fucking webcam is royally messing up. It's just got a lot do you open it at all, Coralina?
No, I just kind of hold it up.
Just hold it up. But yeah, it's just like it's thick, heavily bound. It looks like, doesn't look new, but it looks like it's been used for a fair whack anyway.
It is well loved.
Is it a book or a satchel?
It's a book.
Spellbook. Sure would be nice to just be able to learn new spells like that. Does it take you long to learn them?
Depends on if I can find them, really.
Also, is it getting hot in here or is it just me?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the rope to fall to the ground as it starts to burn above us, and then I'm going to start. As
you kind of glance up, you can see the flames of the fire start to flicker over the entrance that you left open. The rope itself hasn't burnt yet, but you can start to feel the intensity of the heat. Just kind of, it's not super intense, but you can feel the temperature in the cave has climbed a couple of degrees.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, like I said, resting for a bit. Maybe I can recover just enough to use some more magic. Maybe.
Yeah,
let's
just get out from underneath this building, because if it comes down on us, then we're screwed.
Fair enough.
Agree.
I'm with the. You know, I agree with the opinion of the royalty in this situation.
Sure. But who has that enchanted torch? Does somebody have an enchanted torch? Use to see what the hell's going on down here a bit.
Upon when you think about it, Aaron was the one that picked up the Everlit torch from the
I do have light.
You do have the light spell, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, when you were in I can't even remember the locations of my own world now. Hallows Pass dungeon, that's the one.
I actually can light our way.
Please do. It's kind of dank down here.
So who wants to hold the weapon in the air?
Well, which one are you planning to put in the air?
Well, I was just gonna give you. I mean, I can only light your weapon up for a minute, but that's a minute of torchlight.
It's okay. I can cast daylight. I've got a third level spell.
Talar as well can just cast light.
Yeah, and that is a 1 hour ability. Which I'll cast it on my sigil, so it'll basically produce light.
Okay.
All out.
He grasps your holy symbol and just close your eyes for a brief moment, and as you let go, there is a soft kind of purplish lavender color light that kind of slowly reveals from her hand. It is bright light in 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. So essentially you guys can see for 40 feet around you. And as you glance around, to those of you who don't have dark vision, you now see that this is just a deep tunnel system of some sort, or a cave. The access way above you seems to be man-made. You can see like tool marks that have kind of like cut away at the rock, but where you are now, there doesn't seem to be any tool marks. It seems to be a natural formation of sorts.
So, would it be safe to ascertain that because they have the trapdoor in the tavern and the tunnel down here, that this is a possible either escape route or a method to get goods from anywhere from the other side of this cave to the tavern?
Probably both.
It's got to be smuggling, right?
Well, you
Those
can
are
assume
criminals. I
that
don't deal much with criminals.
you can assume that because Tsuri was the speaker for, or is still the speaker for the Myriad, this could be a potential smuggler's tunnel, and if not, at the very least, an escape tunnel. But either one means there is a way out.
Either one means at the other end there's very likely to be another gang of Myriad men who are going to be really pleased with us after we just burnt down their, HQ.
That would
was
be
awesome.
terrible.
Which gives reason we should probably leave quickly.
Let's get clear of this building and find somewhere to rest.
Could
Sounds
pass,
good.
we could pass without trace and try to sneak out.
Speaking, I'm good at that.
Oh, you're not. That's why we have to pass without trace. It's like smuggling a wardrobe. Really.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna head on as best I can, and just get some distance between us and that trapdoor in case it comes collapsing on top of us.
And Talara's following very closely behind with the light.
Okay. So is everyone heading down? Heading deeper into the tunnel?
I
Cool.
think so, and I think, are we looking for a place to rest? Or... I don't know.
It
How
depends
far
on
does
the
this-
environment, surely.
Okay.
How far does this corridor go? How big is this cave?
As you all get up and start walking down, before you set off, you hear a as the rope finally gives out behind you. You see some glowing embers on the end of the rope where it finally ignited and snapped. You swiftly proceed down, and you guys actually walk for a solid 25-30 minutes following this very narrow, it's about 10 feet wide, so you can go like 2 by 2 if you absolutely needed to, but you walk for about 30 feet in silence. You can hear like just
I
down
don't
the,
think there's silence. Is that what it...
sorry.
Do you... I would like to say while we're walking a little bit, I'm trying to keep my voice down, but since Temple and I had a bit of an epiphany last weekend, I'd like to try to question if Temple knows what he's made out of, like metal wise. Since I have light now, I can sit and maybe take some notes.
Okay, so as you guys are walking down, you just hear the echo of your own footsteps with the soft scribble of pencil onto paper as Coralina is just like kind of rushes ahead a few steps and looks around and doubles back, looks onto the other side, and Temple, you just watch as Coralina is just, you can assume she might be drawing a picture of you or something. You can't really see what she's writing on the small bit of paper that she has. But after about 30 minutes, the tunnel opens up into a wider chamber. There are lots of stalagmites and stalactites that are dotting the floor and the ceiling. A large opening to your far north, or what you can assume to be your north. But it's all still very natural. There doesn't seem to be any man-made structures or items in the area.
How wide open is the cave?
At this point, you're about like this area anyway is about 50 foot in diameter.
Echo.
Echo, echo, echo.
Well, seems like a good place as any to take a rest, I guess.
That sounds amazing right now.
Anyway, Trollina, what are you staring at? It? Is there something on my shoe? Did I step on something again? Is there a goblin on me?
No? Do you know what you're made out of?
I don't know, mithril? Can I get a history check?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or whatever kind of check.
Yeah, it'd be a history check.
I don't know how much temple knows, that's the problem.
11, you know that one of the strongest, albeit rarer materials that were used in some Warforged creation, when you've done some research of your own kind, was tungsten. But you've never really had anyone check, yourself or otherwise, what you're made from. So you're not 100% sure what metal it is that creates your body. But some of the other Warforged that have been created throughout history in your research was made primarily from tungsten.
Oh, seriously?
Probably tungsten, although apparently I am more metal than on the exterior than most Warforged are. Apparently there are some that are in more of the wood, and I think it's an enchanted wood. But yeah, I guess mostly tungsten, but I'm not so sure you could just create one of me. Even if you had the metal.
No.
Well, you might be valuable. I mean, if you die, you could weigh you in.
Now the question is it magnetic?
I can't say I've ever tried. What is magnetism?
It's like when, may I roll? Do you want me to roll an intelligence check for this?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an intelligence check for this. 3, and then hit enter. There you go.
Oh,
6.
God damn it.
You begin to describe what magnetism is and how it works, and then you essentially have a brain fart. You start describing it, and then it's
Stuff like sticks to stuff. It's
Oh, like glue.
kind
Magic.
of.
I hadn't have you figured for a chemist.
I'm not. Just a scholar.
Okay, so are you guys wanting a short or a long rest here, out of curiosity, before we continue with this CD?
Any wood to start a fire? Not something we didn't have so much trouble with earlier.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with either a short or a long, because either way I can get some spells back.
How much does a short give you back?
Short.
Depends on how many I want. But it can't be, like, too much.
Take a short rest and then, like I say, try to sneak out.
Yeah. Let's get ourselves fit for a fight, but let's get out of here as quick as we can.
Okay.
Yes, if how many spell slots do you regain, though, is my question, because I'm not doing so well in that department.
For you, none. You don't gain any spell slot. You only gain your spell slots back as a cleric. I believe it's on a long rest. Let me actually just double check here. Yeah, no, you don't gain any spell slots back during a short rest. It's only a long rest. Wizards have a feat that allow them to get some spell slots back. Not them all, but some.
Some. I think out of character it's up to level 6.
It's up to your wisdom modifier plus your it's your wisdom modifier plus
6.
wizard level, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and for me, they said it's 6, so.
It's 6, is it? I thought it was wisdom modifier plus your wizard level, or is it half your wizard level?
D&D Beyond it said 6, so.
Let me double check here. Once per day, sort of less than half your wizard level rounded up, actually. So yes, so never mind. It's not with your wisdom modifier. It's just half your wisdom, half your wizard level rounded. up. So at 11th level.
I get a combination of up to level 6.
Up to 6th level, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will do that, because I don't need to die today.
Cool, so go ahead and regain however many spell slots you would like, up to a maximum of 1 6th level spell.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Take a short rest then.
And you can all take a short rest as you spend an hour setting down.
Can I use hit die to regain hit?
You can, and for the sake of this, I'll also say that just for a bit of fluff, Nathtari, with your cantrip create bonfire, you actually create yourself a small bonfire in the center of the room, which provides a gentle heat, gentle light, so that everyone can kind of sit down and relax. You'll tend to your wounds, eat any rations that you have, and try and recuperate over the hour. About half an hour in, you hear a and dust kind of falls from the ceiling as you glance over and assume that what was once the topaz blade has just caved in on itself.
I wonder if my methods made it out.
Probably loving that fire, aren't they?
Yeah, they're little firebugs.
I wonder if my bears caught fire and ran out into the street. Ran up into the streets.
You will never know. Okay, so Temple, 64 HP returned. Victorlas, you return 9. Anyone else want to roll hit die?
What do I need to roll for that again?
So it is your current hit die, which for you is a D8 plus your Constitution modifier, which is +2. So you can roll up to 11 D8 +2 to regenerate your health.
I shouldn't need that much. +2, you said?
+2 with your Constitution modifier, yeah.
Oops. Come on. That's definitely more than, yeah, so.
Okay. So is everyone healed? Everyone done what they want to do during this short rest?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. So, the hour passes. You all tend to your wounds. Corlina, after you've after you've listened out and heard the destruction from behind you, you think back to all of the spells that you've cast and how exhausted you're feeling. You kind of sit down and start going through your spell book, passing through the pages and reacquainting yourself with the vocal, somatic, and material components needed for a few of your spells, and recover X amount of spell slots up to 1 6th level. After the hour goes by, everyone is now back on their feet, not fully rested, but rested enough, ready to continue. You guys wanting to continue on down the through the next opening into the system?
I'd like to cast Pass Without Trace.
2nd level. Okay.
So, and you said an hour had passed by, at which
It's
point
about an
the
hour,
light
yeah.
has fizzled out.
Yeah, the light is fizzled out. Pass Without a Trace
About
is
half an hour.
Pass Without a Trace is active. You can go ahead and recast it if you'd like. I'm pretty sure light is a cantrip, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yes, you can go ahead and recast it as much as you want if you'd like.
I've got
Okay.
dark vision. Hold my hand. I think if we go out there all lit up, we'll just attract attention to ourselves. If there is somebody waiting for us. Yes, this place. There's only one way out.
That is
We're
a good
assuming there's only
point.
one way out, but yeah, if we're gonna go stealthy. Maybe let's go proper stealthy.
Echo.
Echo, echo, echo.
Oh, never mind.
So, you guys going stealthy or you going not so stealthy?
Okay, so let's go
Keeping in
stealthy.
mind that Neftari has already cast Without a Trace. Pass Without a Trace, sorry.
Temple, don't do that echo thing again. We're going to go out here really quiet and just try to sneak past whoever
Yeah,
might
I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna do it again, but okay.
Okay. So as you then as you start to continue down, trying to be as quiet as you can, everyone go ahead and roll me stealth checks. Temple, you are at disadvantage.
What does Pass Without a Trace do?
It gives you a +10 to your checks, no matter what you roll. Okay, so 21, 17, 13, 16, 34. Okay, so you guys, there's a slight as you move as quietly as you can, Temple. You can't silence your metal frame, but you nullify as much of the sound as possible. The one that actually seems to be making the most noise is actually Talar, as just the leather from your armor just starts like kind of just rubbing against each other. It's not making a lot of noise, but it's surprisingly making more noise than you expect it to. But
It's making the leathery, squeaky noises.
as you continue to walk, you walk for about another 45 minutes. The cavern starts to open up a little bit more. It's about 30, 40 feet wide. Ahead you see what looks to be two formations. One that splits off to the left, one that splits off to the right.
Two passageways.
Yeah.
Can I? I'd like to cast a thingy, please. A thingy being the correct word, of course. I'd like to cast Divine Sense, just to maybe get a feel for if there's anything undesirable potentially down one of these paths. For reference, that is within 60 feet the location of any celestial fiend or undead.
Yeah, so you're not actually, don't cast it, you just activate your Divine Sense. It's not technically a spell, it's a feat. Okay. As you kind of like focus on your new sigil to Nerul, you kind of close everything around you. Everything goes dark as you kind of extend your senses out. No fiends, no celestials, no undead within 60 feet of you. That is not behind total cover.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Any ideas, anyone?
I could see about looking down one of them.
Would you like to sit on my shoulders so you can see further?
No thanks. I could summon Barkley again if you give me like 10 minutes. Or I can do it faster if you guys don't mind me, blowing another spell slot.
The right path it is.
DM, what environment are we considered to be in now?
This would be cavernous.
Okay.
Like it's a natural cavernous formation at the moment.
So while we're waiting to decide on which formation or which left or right, can I use that time to ritual summon Barkley?
Yeah.
Cool. And then on top of that, I will blow a second level spell slot to cast Dark Vision on myself.
Okay.
So if my vision has Dark Vision and I use Barkley's eyes to look through them, do I still benefit from the Dark Vision or no?
No, because Barkley, a Bloodhawk, does not have Dark Vision, I believe.
Then I'll have to give it to Sir Barkley then. Just kind of boot my bird on the snoot.
Wait, Barkley's in the monster manual, right? Bloodhawk. Bloodhawk, Bloodhawk.
Do you not have a monster card for Sir Barkley?
I do not, because it's only for monster cards for, like, like these are
Sir Barkley
miscellaneous.
will remember that.
These are miscellaneous creature. Mr. Barkley is a miscellaneous creature. That you don't get monster cards for miscellaneous creatures. Unfortunately, I'll have to make one myself.
Sir Barkley will still remember.
Yes, I know he will. No, Bloodhawks don't have dark vision, so you would need to cast dark vision
Okay.
on Sir Barkley.
I will boop Sir Barkley on the snoot and give him dark vision.
So as he, like, as you summon him, he kind of like forms, like comes into existence on the ground and just flaps up onto your shoulder, kind of flops his feathers at you, and you just kind of boop, and he just shakes his head at you and cocks his head at you, giving you a "how dare you" kind of look before he kind of glances around, and you guys can actually see the Bloodhawk on Carolina's shoulder, kind of looking around in bewilderment, like, oh, and kind of like nibbles on your ear before just settling down on your shoulder and waiting for a command.
Okay. I'd like to tell him that I'd like him to fly around the left one. I'm going to look through him. I assume that's already like a thing we've agreed upon. I look through him.
Mm-hmm.
And swoop around. Try to go until about the range is going to end, and then return to me. And then we'll investigate the right one.
Okay. So I'm just double checking something here. Okay. So as he as you give him his command, he takes off and takes down the left tunnel. He flies for about only actually a couple of seconds, because your the range is only 100 feet.
Yes.
Flies for a couple of seconds, and you can actually feel that connection start to like fade as he starts to reach the point of no return, where he comes to a stop.
Yeah.
He can continue going, because he can go for as long as he wants to, but you can't maintain connection beyond 100 feet.
Yeah, I think it's command connection. I think, or is it? Because I know I can telepathically command him to do things within a certain amount of feet. I don't know what it is for vision sharing.
So no, it's all within 100 feet. While your familiar is within 100 feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. Additionally, as an action, you can see through your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn, gaining the benefits of any special senses that our familiar has. During this time, you're deaf and blind with regard to your own senses, and it is within 100 feet. So, communication, sight, and sound is through him is all within 100 feet.
All right. So he'll return from the left side after a couple seconds, and then go try to look at the right side.
Okay. Again, you all watch as Barkley kind of vanishes down the left tunnel. A few seconds later, just zips out through the left tunnel, does a sharp bank around, and starts making his way down the right hand tunnel. Down the left, as you were watching through Barclay's eyes, the tunnel continues on for about 50 feet before taking a shallow left turn, and it actually starts to ramp deeper underground before he returned. The right hand tunnel continues on. There's a slight incline on the right hand tunnel, starts to dip down again after about 80 feet, and then levels out as it continues on until it gets to 100 feet, and then Barclay's forced to return.
Alright, I'll sever my connection. I assume Sir Barkley will return to my shoulder.
Sir Barkley, once the connection is severed, quite swiftly, makes his way over to you and returns to your shoulder.
Okay. So, I point to the left one. That one seems to go down more. And I point to the right one. That one slightly goes up and then goes down again. I'm kind of lost here.
Can I check the ground for any sign of movement or, footprints or where anything's been disturbed at either of these tunnels?
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
And I'd like to just use my intuition to decide which path is best to go.
Oh dear.
Okay, 15. As you glance down, both tunnels actually seem to be devoid of any kind of disturbance. Either someone is good at clearing their tracks, or this tunnel has seen very little use since its adoption as a form of escape from the tavern.
I could cast divination. We could ask the gods if either of these ways.
DM, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we've all witnessed Nethari use fire, yeah? Did you create the bonfire at our rest?
You created the bonfire at your rest, and you created the wall of fire, like within the tavern as well.
Nethari, could you make like a small fire, like a tiny one? We're not trying to burn ourselves alive down here, just a little one.
DM, how far down the left tunnel am I? Because I got bored like a minute ago.
You didn't say that, so you've just started walking down.
Yep.
Temple just suddenly stands up and starts walking down the left-hand tunnel.
I'm gonna create a small bonfire.
Where do you want to put it? Like in between the two doors, in front of one of them?
In between the two doors will be fine, yeah.
Okay. Small bonfire lights and is just flickering in between the two doorways. What are you looking for, Carolina?
I am seeing which way the fire is being tilted, because with air movements, you can tell with how far the thing is moving.
Well done. I was hoping someone would do that, I'll be honest. Yeah, as the bonfire lights, you watch as it actually flickers directly back towards you as the air from both the tunnels kind of flows out. Then give it a couple of moments and fire starts to bend further to your left after a few moments.
Oh, he got it right. We should probably go that way, and I point to the left tunnel.
Foremost intuition.
Yeah, we'll never doubt you again, Temple.
Warforged will remember that.
Before we set off,
Okay.
I found this box behind the bar, but it's locked. You can even open it
I'm gonna tear the box open.
forcefully, but gently, very.
No, not gently at all.
Thieves, tools. Oh, never mind.
Far too excited.
Go ahead and roll me a strength check, please, Temple.
Small box. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fishing for advantage here.
Go ahead and roll me strength check, please.
Please do it gentle.
18. As you rip this box open, you hear some objects drop. Some of them seem to shatter as they hit the floor.
Oh dear.
Oh, Temple has done it again.
I retract my previous statement.
You're welcome.
As
I'm
you
gonna walk away now, paying no regard at all for the fragments.
as you kind of glance down, you're able, like with your dark vision, you're able to recover 3 star rubies worth about 1,000 gold pieces each, and a single fire opal worth about 1,000 gold pieces. As you glance around, you can see the remains, the shattered remains, which are now worthless, of, you could assume to be 2 black opals, 2 sapphire, 2 emerald, 3 opals, and 2 yellow sapphires as they dropped and shattered on the floor.
They can't be real sapphires, otherwise they wouldn't have shattered like that.
They were a crime gang. Of course they've got valuables all over the place.
Natari, go ahead and roll me an insight check, please. Okay. Let me see here. One moment. I wonder if this will work. It does work. Cool. Let me mute that, because I can now log into Discord on my Chrome and send people private messages and stuff so that people don't know stuff. And the chat doesn't see stuff either because I'm being a cheeky cunt.
Oh,
Wow.
I was hoping there'd be cigars in this box,
Okay.
not valuables. Really.
There we go. Right, so
But it
Are you
might-
gonna use the broken gemstones?
sorry, what was that?
I was asking Nethar if he's gonna use the broken gemstones.
well,
Because I assume he grabbed them up anyway.
Did you, Nathaniel?
broken gemstones? Why? What, you can repair them? If you can repair them, I'll pick up the... Well, it's dust. It's very valuable dust.
Would you
Well,
like
it's
me
not
to try
dust,
and
but
squeeze them
there are
back together?
shards.
I can try and squeeze them back together if you like. Temple cracks his knuckles.
No, Temple, I think you're fine.
Don't know.
I don't know if I can repair them. I just that's how we, it's a weird cultural thing.
Okay, I tried to gather up as many of the little shards and flecks of valuable...
Okay, you're able to collect up as much of it as you can. You miss a few of the really small bits and pieces, but you're able to pick up a few chunks. It might still be worth something.
Yeah, you never know. We might be able to find someone who can use it as an enchantment or something. I don't know.
Someone could cut smaller stones.
Yeah. Might decorate something with them.
Okay, are you guys wanting to continue on, or?
If I'm ready to go.
I think so.
How many minutes is left on my light?
You've got about 30 minutes left on your light after you've walked down from the initial, like from your resting point down the hallway, and then the time it's taken to ascertain where you guys want to go.
Okay.
So you guys continue onwards?
Yeah, I'm following Temple.
Okay, cool. You guys continue onwards. There's the gradual turn to the left, and the path starts to lead downwards. It's kind of it's a shallow decline, but it does slowly reach and start to head down. About 10 minutes of walking on this decline, the path makes a shallow turn to the right, starts to level out slightly, and then continues on for an unknown distance. It's just nothing but darkness ahead of you. Do you want to keep going?
I'm gonna keep an eye out for any traps or unusual features, but yeah, I'm gonna keep going if Temple's keeping going.
Okay, Victoria.
Laura's following closely behind.
I'm going to lead
Yeah,
the
sure.
way, but only for us. I won't stray into darkness as long as I can see.
Okay. So what we'll say is, every so often, like every time, like anytime it doesn't like the light fades, Talar. If needed, you recast light as it is a cantrip. It is a free cast for that. So you essentially have an unlimited supply of light if you need it.
Okay.
What were you about to say there, Carolina?
I said I'm gonna be staying mid to the rear of the party. I'm still like taking notes in the margins of my spell book of like, tungsten question mark, might find dwarf, further consultation needed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make that bastard electrified, one way or another.
Okay. As you continue onwards, and to grab another book and take a look at, you
Can I understand Carolina's writing?
this in the light, with the fact that you're all on the move, go ahead and roll me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
It's written in cursive.
Yeah, it's as you glance over, it's very difficult to make out what she's writing, especially since you're moving, the constant change in the light, and you're having to keep an eye out on your surroundings in case you run into a trap, an ambush. You might run into the wall. It's not drawn in crayon.
No, I can use my thing once a day to make an object, and I picked a pen.
Neftari's book's full of crayon.
I'm sure plenty of pictures of dicks.
Yep.
Okay.
You were a follower of the Traveler.
Okay. So, as you guys proceed onwards, Vitalis, you kind of stick close to Temple, keeping an eye out for any traps. Actually continues onwards for... You're actually starting to lose track of the time down here. You don't know how long you've been walking for. It feels like it's been an hour or so. Talar, you have had to recast your light only once, so it's been at least an hour. But the path just seems to stay level, and you're just continue walking. There are some instances where it kind of opens out into a cavernous region, but the tunnel system, even though it snakes here and there, seems very natural. But there's no diversion to it. Actually, let me just quickly double check one thing here.
I'm pretty sure we must be out of town by now.
This map, by the time we get out, will be in Whitest One.
Okay. No one would be able to ascertain any information from this, just taking a quick look. So you still continuing onwards?
We've already come this far.
Don't see that we've got much choice. Let's keep going.
Okay. As you head out, continue on and continue onwards. Again, Talar, recast your light, keeping the area lit from the night for 40 feet. You travel for what seems to be about another half hour before finally the path seems to take a gradual right turn and begins to incline at a shallow rate. You actually feel a gentle breeze start to hit your faces as you finally round the corner, way off in the distance, up this ever climbing incline. You see a small speck of light off in the distance.
Okay, lights out.
Sneaky, sneaky, everyone. Sneaky, sneaky.
She dispels the light.
I mean,
Temple.
Light is gone.
You might be better waiting here until we check this out.
I
Like,
still have dark
looking
vision.
at it, you
I
still...
had dark vision on Barkley.
Yeah, you do.
Echo!
And... Echo! Echo! But as you glance up, you can see you've still got at least 500. Like you can gather at least 500 odd feet, maybe more,
Okay.
before you hit the sunlight.
Okay, so let's get a little closer and then
Yep.
Sir Barkley can do his thing.
Alright.
So
Okay.
I would assume that those who could see in the dark are now leading those who can't.
Even though you can't see, you can feel that you're on an incline. You can like run your hand up the walls to kind of guide you, and you can see the speck of light in the distance, so you know where you're heading. So you wouldn't need to be led if you don't want to.
May I use Barkley as a seeing eye bird? So we can communicate telepathically.
You may if you would like to.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys heading up.
It's the first light we've seen.
Okay,
Well,
you guys head up
cautiously.
cautiously. Everyone, go ahead and roll me stealth checks. As you cross about 400 feet, the light begins to grow, and you can actually see what looks to be clouds formed in the distance. You pass 400 feet, about 90 feet to go. 80, get to 75. Carolina, you kind of just like signal, like, no, stop. You like take Sir Barkley from your shoulder in your hand, give him a nod, and send him offwards. You close your eyes and begin to channel through his eyesight. Let's see, 16, 5, 2, 6, 27. As you, like, you're not used to Carolina being the one to, like, get you guys to stop. And as Carolina kind of abruptly raises her hand, as you kind of tumble into each other, like, oh, fuck, sorry. Your voices echo down the hall. You don't know whether or not you've been detected by anyone or anything. So Barkley soars out. 25 feet past, soars up into the sky, and actually manages to come down on what looks to be a wooden structure of sorts. And as he glances around, it looks to be some kind of collection of buildings. Almost a village of sorts. As he looks around, there are a few people dressed in what looks to be white, long, flowing robes of varying shades. Different races, primarily half-elves, but there's a couple of humans, a couple of halflings, and one or two tieflings that are kind of roaming around this village.
Okay. Out of the opening, is there anybody stationed near the opening by chance?
There's nobody stationed there, but as Barkley kind of looks around, there's one of the half-elves that kind of points to the opening, then points up to Barkley, and like talks to a companion of theirs. Again, points to the Bloodhawk, points to the opening.
Are they speaking Elvish?
They are at a distance where you can't hear them. Well, Barkley can't hear them.
I'd like to just make a Bloodhawk noise. Seem very unassuming.
You just, well, you're not in command of Barkley, remember. Barkley does his own
You
thing.
said within 100.
Yeah, no, you can command him to do something. You're not in command. You
make a
don't
bird
control
noise.
him. You don't control him. He can do things as he sees fit. You just see and hear through his eyes and ears. You don't physically control
God damn it,
him.
make a bird noise.
You just kind of caw, and then
God damn, my bird is
takes off and flaps down and begins making his way back to you. On last glance, there are 2 or 3 of the half-elves that seem to be gathering towards the entrance.
May I make an insight check?
You may at disadvantage.
Oh yeah, they seem friendly as hell.
For all you
Okay,
know,
maybe-
for all you know, they are aware of your location. You are a threat, and they are rallying to eliminate the threat.
I sent
Wait,
her the
there's company
connection.
up there. What is there, a Myriad caravan up there or something? What?
I think they work for the Myriad. I think they want us dead. Please proceed with caution.
Well, I'd want us dead if I were them.
Here we go. Okay.
I've got almost nothing left.
S- stay behind us if you can, Talar. Temple,
Yes,
ready to go fuck shit up?
absolutely.
I cast mage armor on myself.
I suggest not attacking immediately.
Echo
If
charge!
there's any chance that they're friendly.
As you're in the middle of saying
None.
this, Talar, as you're in the middle of saying this, and you just hear echo, echo, charge, and Temple draws his weapon and begins running up the path.
Somebody needs to stop him.
Are you guys following behind?
I am gonna run with him. Fuck it. I'm gonna put my hood up and I'm gonna run with him. I'm gonna get my bow ready. I'm not gonna knock an arrow, but I'm gonna make sure
Okay.
it's on my side. Follow Temple.
Is everyone else following behind?
Yep.
I'm gonna turn myself
Yes.
into a large brown bear and try to get ahead of them.
Okay. As you guys kind of break out into the opening, there is a collection of individuals who are just all the half-elven individuals that you spotted through Barclay's eyes, Coralina. There is 5 of them who are stood around the entrance. As you come out with your weapons drawn, ready to attack, one of them kind of steps forward.
Has Natari turned into a bear?
Are you? Sorry, I didn't hear that. I did not hear that. That's my apologies.
They were charging. I turned myself into a
So
large brown bear.
you're chasing us out of this tunnel as a bear currently.
Yeah.
Excellent. In which case, I'm gonna shout, "There's a bear! There's a bear! Quick, everyone! There's a bear following us!" And I try and distract them.
All right, go ahead and roll a deception check.
Oh my god, a bear!
8. As you kind of run and try and get past them, a couple of them kind of stand in front of your group, like preventing you from actually moving past. You have to physically stop in order to like avoid running into these guys, unless you want to charge through them.
What does Temple do?
Try to ride the bear.
Oh, you're going back to ride the bear. Okay. Shit.
So what are you doing, Victorlas?
So I'm gonna stop dead in my tracks and look back towards Temple.
All right, you kind of stop. You turn around and look towards Temple. Temple, as you like get yourself ready to try and mount Neftari. Yeah,
There's already fanfiction of that.
yeah, there's fan fiction of that now. As you get yourself ready, everyone else. So Coralina, Talar, and Victorlas, you see what the oldest looking half-elven individual just flick his hands towards the bear. And Temple, as you're ready to make your maneuver, Neftari, your bear form drops. You return to your normal self by an external source.
And 1,000 pins are still writing.
Yes, 1,000 pens are still writing.
You're it.
That was unexpected.
We are quite familiar with how one would transform themselves into a creature of the wild. This is not the first time we have seen something like this in this area.
Hi, I'm Atari. Who the hell are you guys?
Greetings, my name is Kadar. Welcome to the tribe of the Air Asari. I can't speak. The Air Asari.
So you're not gonna kill us?
No. Well, why would you assume such a thing?
Oh,
My
thank
bad,
goodness, I
guys,
can
my
stop
bad.
posturing.
And you see that they have staffs. Some of them have staffs, but as you kind of look onto them, they're the older of the generation of individuals here who are using them mainly for support, not weapons. And there are no weapons that have actually been drawn.
So what's that tunnel there? Purpose does that serve?
It was an old mining shaft that has been long since abandoned.
And have you seen a cowardly dwarf character come through there in the last half a day?
I cannot say we have. You are the first set of individuals to have ventured this way in some time through the tunnel.
So, where else?
You're currently in Safra. This is our small tribal village where we train our druids in ways of the air elementals. And you, as kind of, this Kada turns around and looks at one of the younger ones, you watch as he kind of turns on the spot and actually well shaped into an air elemental. A very familiar looking air elemental for you, Coralina, as it's almost exactly the same as the one that you conjure on several occasions.
I whispered to Neftari, we've walked into the town of fart monsters.
Hey guys, I'm a druid too.
Laura's kind of rolling her eyes and face palming slightly.
They are not fart monsters. They are air elementals. And we Ashari have the ability to transform into an elemental, given time and training, of course.
Can I make an intelligence check to see if this? You said it's familiar. I want to know if this is exact.
And go ahead and roll an int check.
All right.
What is a fart? You keep mentioning it. I've never heard of it.
10. It's not exactly the same. The form of the elemental itself is constantly flickering and changing. The color for the lightning effect through the maelstrom that is its main form, kind of that gives it its eyes, is a deeper shade of yellow than the one that you conjure. So it looks very, very similar. You could assume that most air elementals might actually share some kind of natural form, but there are differences.
I was unaware people could turn into these.
Most cannot. It is given time, a lot of training, and quite a bit of effort. There are few who have gone through their pilgrimage to seek all of our tribes, which would allow them to wild shape into a multitude of elementals: water, fire, earth, and air.
Huh.
Well shaped into beasts. Do you think you'd be able to teach me how to well shape into the elemental? What?
Kind of takes a quick step back and glances around at the other individuals who kind of look intrigued. We've never had an outsider look for our training. It may be possible, but it would take some time.
I'm not
It
from
is-
this land, but we're on a noble quest.
If you are willing to take some time out of your noble quest, we would be able to teach you. But it would take quite some time for you to be able to eventually master the art of the transformation into an air elemental.
Well, we're pretty busy. We're trying to save the world.
Isn't everyone?
I'm going to assume because I'm a druid and these guys are druids that we can sort of think that. Can I speak in druidic?
You can speak Druidic to them if you'd like.
In druidic, I'd like to kind of explain what we're doing and ask for the help.
Yeah, go right ahead. Explain.
First, we've had a long battle. Can we rest here?
He kind of looks around to the others. You kind of just give a firm nod. And he replies to you in Druidic. Yes, of course. You may find shelter on the far southern regions. Feel free to use the empty huts there. There will be no furnishings provided, I'm afraid. We have lost a few of our members recently with time. However, their accommodation would be free for you to use.
What's he saying, Hector?
He says we can rest here.
Thank the goddess.
About that.
Tillar's wings visibly kind of droop a little bit.
Yeah, we've had a long battle. We're fighting some deep evil in this world. They took over our land, conjured demons everywhere, turned the people that passed away into zombies. And this evil is, we fear, spreading across here.
Well, we have not seen any signs of reanimation of the dead. Our most recent loss was but a few days ago. They have not reawoken. If it was their time. They have walked many centuries on this earth.
These guys
Time.
are elven, right?
They're elven, half elven.
Can I... Does this make sense to me? That they would fade away kind of thing?
Well, they're speaking Druidic, so you don't understand a thing they're saying.
So I don't know anything, yes, of
Yeah.
course. Oh, shut up.
My friends, one of their fathers, he caused evil in my land. His sister is now over here in this land. She has stolen the stuff of... What was he called?
Karsus.
She has stolen the stuff of Karsus in the museum in Stolden.
The moment you say that, this entire time he's had a gentle smile on his face, and it's been really a real welcoming look on his face. The moment you say the staff of Karsus has been stolen, his expression just immediately drops. The staff of Karsus has been stolen.
Yes, by the daughter of a man who fear wants to great evil. And we don't think she's trying to stop him.
He looks over to some of the younger looking half-elven individuals. Continue your training. It will be needed, sooner rather than later. The younger ones kind of give a curt nod, and the first one you see is turned on the spot and wild shapes once again into an air elemental as he then heads off with the younger of the half elves.
We're looking for help wherever we can get it.
I am aware of the power behind the Staff of Casus. Many generations of my family line have passed, but stories have been told of what has happened in the past. We are tasked with protecting a great realm that holds many great dangers. We will not be able to provide all of our numbers, but I can provide a few. And he's like, this sentence he has reverted back to common, so you can all hear this.
Any help you can offer is appreciated.
Of course. You see another older individual kind of like not run but kind of like a brisk pace walk over and just whisper something into Kadan's ear. It would seem that your arrival here may not be simply coincidence. I may have to ask for your aid. Perhaps. For now, please, find yourself some rest. We will continue this conversation in the morning. And as he says that, you kind of glance around and you can actually see that you're, like, as you look around to the far southeast, Stilben is, but almost like a dull grey blob, like a mass off into the distance. You are a long way away from Stilben. If you take a look at the city map, you guys are now way up here. This is Stilben down here. You guys are a long way away from Stilben.
Huh, it didn't seem that far away when we were underground.
One can lose track of time, and it is difficult to track distance when you're not able to see the world passing by you.
Very true.
Please, find some shelter, rest. We will speak in the morning of what you may be required to do. There will be no force. This will simply be a request.
We will do what we can, thank you.
And gives you a curt nod and turns around and gestures you to follow him. As he walks, he leads you to 3 small wooden huts. And they look big enough to house maybe 2, maybe 3 people at a push. It wouldn't be uncomfortable with like 3 people inside. And 2 lakes. It is big. It does have enough room for you to walk about in. But any more than 3, and it'd start to get encroach on being uncomfortable. But he provides 3 of those huts, so there's enough there for all of you to settle down in and have a long rest if you so require. As you look around, you can see that the sun is now actually starting to set over the horizon.
Did anyone bring any beer?
Oh, that's the druids. Druids always have them.
Kadan kind of glances over to you, Nestari, and grins and chuckles. That may be the case for druids of your land, but we Ashari need to keep our minds clear. There are other things here that are at great risk should we lose focus.
Water and rations it is then, guys.
Lara's already munching on her own rations and water.
Create a small bonfire. Oh, is it okay to create a fire here?
You could create one outside the huts. The huts are wooden, so you could create one outside as you guys kind of gather around before you retire for the evening, to provide heat and light, and then retire into the huts for your long rest.
Yep. Well,
She enjoys her
some
rations next to that.
I'm quite happy to get myself comfortable by the fire and meditate out here, so...
Okay, me and you, Temple, bunking up.
Sure.
But Temple doesn't sleep either.
I'm not very comfortable though.
But you wouldn't be sharing a room with Nathari, would you?
Oh no, you can if you want. I'll show you what a fart is.
Okay. With that, do you guys want to take a quick bio break? Like just a quick 5-minute break
Yeah.
before you guys take your long
Sure.
rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Why not?
Cool. So, take a quick bio break. That's 22, so stay back here for about 1:45, and we will continue on ASAP.
Ooh. Sure thing.
Cool. Then we'll be back in 5 minutes. And we are back. Oh, actually, what do I need to do here? There's something that I had here. No, that's not the one I want.
So out of curiosity, what were our sleeping arrangements? Because I might have shenanigans depending.
Okay, well, you didn't actually. I don't think you actually. Did you guys say how you were going to arrange your sleeping arrangements?
All I know is
No,
Temple
not
is
yet.
rooming with somebody.
We're all sitting around the fire currently, as far as I know.
Well,
I don't sleep horizontally. I just stand like a statue watching. I like to watch.
Long rest.
That's creepy. And already 1,000 pence of writing once more.
Yeah, I don't sleep, drink, eat, or breathe, so I can do anything. Just I don't even get exhausted from lack of sleep. So
No, the pens just started scratching as soon as you said, I like to watch.
what is that pen doing? What's it writing?
fan fiction, fan fiction. I mean, what?
My god, that's my next character.
Oh, God.
I will roll a bard. Bangs knows I'll roll a fucking bard.
Yeah. Fucking damn it, why
Well,
did I invite you into my
Victorious
game?
will be sitting by the fire, and as long as it's comfortable and warm enough, he's going to meditate there, because he only needs
Okay.
to meditate for 4 hours.
Okay.
Nah, I'm at 6 hours.
So you guys have got 2 huts that are vacant and free for you to use.
There's a chance that Talar probably fell asleep near the fire.
Okay.
But, I mean, like, before all this, she would have taken her satchel off and set it down in front of her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kind of near the warmth.
Go ahead and roll me an animal handling check, please, Talar. Unnatural 20. You can feel there's a bit more weight to the egg now. Like over the last few days that you've been hefting it around. You don't know how it develops, if it's like pretty quick, if it's kind of slow. Like you don't know if this is it's cooking and becoming hot? You don't know, but it's gotten heavier.
I'm gonna, before I go into my meditation, I'm gonna open one eye and, if I can, just without moving, watch what Talar's doing, and hopefully she'll look at me and I can just knowingly close my eye again.
And likewise, I'm just constantly always aware of my surroundings during sleep. So if I see anything, I'd like to just continue seeing it and not react, as Temple is to do.
I'd actually like to have Talar, I mean, without like lifting open the flap to show everyone, but just kind of slide her hand underneath just to kind of feel how the egg feels.
It's quite warm.
Okay. She's gonna pull it back away from the fire a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to adopt a crow from Hawk the Slayer pose, and as I meditate, I'm going to very, very specifically focus on this cloak and see if I can get some kind of connection to it.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Sure.
While this is happening, anyone else doing anything at all? Or are you just wanting to go and get some sleep?
I'm still like, you know, sketching stuff in like the margins of my spellbook of like, how do I, one, get Temple electrified, either using like the metal of his body or something else, and how do I not kill the shit out of him while doing this?
You're just brainstorming ideas how to.
I want to be able to do this more than once.
You're brainstorming. You go ahead and roll me an Arcana check, actually. With your wizard back with your class being a wizard, and with your innate curiosity, roll again and we'll do this at advantage.
Okay.
So you got a 14 and a 13. Some ideas kind of spark to mind. You could like make let's take a quick look here actually, just so I can double check something here. You could make an attempt at replicating your lightning bolt spell at a lower level. It would take some tinkering to do, which could provide the electrical charge, but wouldn't exactly be lethal. But it would take some research, time, trial, error.
Well, I mean, I'm not leaving this party for a while, so I got time.
So you got time. Alright, cool. And then is everyone else just going to go to sleep?
No, I'm going to have a look through all the stuff I looted at the inn. Especially, I'm going to look to see if we've got anything to smoke or any interesting looking powders that you might be able to snort, or little bottles.
There are no powders. There are no bottles or anything like that. No drugs, no alcohol, nothing like that. But as you manage to pinch as many of the coin purses and rifle through as many of the robes as you could, like going through everything, these are thieves after all. You count up to 10,000 gold pieces.
Oh crap! What's Tari even looking for?
I don't know.
Anything.
Something to eat, possibly.
I'm not helping with that.
Okay, is that you guys?
I mean, that's it for me. Unless we find out sleeping arrangements.
5,000 gold pieces, 10.
10. In total, there was 2 quite hefty coin purses, and then with the remainder that you could get to before the fire consumed them all. Some of them weren't too tightly packed, but they had gold in them, and it's not exact, but You could best guess is about 10,000 gold pieces in total. And that was off of like 14, like, well, more like 10 corpses.
But no drugs.
No drugs. Because drugs are bad, okay?
I sleep
Don't
in
do
a
drugs.
flexing position.
By this point, Talara would have kind of like laid down on the ground and kind of curled
I
halfway
will
around.
say you guys have,
her
like,
couch.
as you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves and resting at the bonfire, you pulled out your bedrolls and like set them up in a position behind you where you're not able to. It's not too discomforting, but you'd be able to like just lie back in the heat of the gentle heat of the bonfire and the cool breeze that's coming from the mountainous air, and eventually just drift off around the bonfire. Time passes. 4 hours go by. Victorlas, your meditation is complete. I will warn you all now to adjust Rhythmbot's volume down as I'm about to change the background. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's an eagle somewhere.
That's Sir Barkley, I think.
Yeah, you got hungry in the night.
So as you guys 4 hours pass, Victorlas, you come to consciousness. We'll say in these 4 hours, while everyone else is getting their sleep, this is when you kind of draw around your cloak to your front and kind of just close your eyes and focus on it and try and see if there's some kind of connection there. You extend your senses and try and focus on something that might be there for 15 minutes, and then there's something there that's in the back of your head. It feels very familiar. As you close your eyes, in your mind's eye, you're looking around in nothing but darkness, and eventually there's a spark of light in front of you, and as you approach, you see yourself walking towards you. Think like
I'm getting very Final Fantasy VIII vibes about this. Anyway.
and I think like Rey in The Force Awakens in her dream.
Oh,
You-
could I not?
Rey, no, I know it's a bad example. Or think Inception when
Yeah.
they're in France, the mirrors. You kind of raise your hand up to the reflection. It's the exact same thing, and it just mimics your every move. And at last glance, as you're looking down at your hand, you glance up to yourself. Your other self is still staring at your hand. It looks up to you. The glass cracks. Connection breaks.
I just got chills.
4 hours go by as you're left pondering what this could possibly mean. Everyone else comes to. You have come to your full rest. And it's at that point, as the sun begins to rise up into the cool mountainous air, Kadan slowly walks towards you all. Oh, good morning to you all. I hope you had a pleasant night's rest. You'll find that is quite gentle up in these peaks.
And he catches Talar in the middle of a very wide, loud yawn.
And just smiles to all of you. Now, after last
Corleone is-
night, there were there's an issue that has arisen. And as I said, I may have to request your assistance in the matter if it would be feasible for you to aid us, of course.
What is it?
Yeah, we can help. We need to get back to Stilburn at some point. I think.
We Ashari, we are the Air Ashari, are tasked with guarding the gate that leads to the plane of air. Yeah, Caroline?
Yeah, do I have any knowledge of this gate?
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Yeah.
Let me get my book back up here.
God
14.
damn it, with all these sevens.
Yeah, a lot of sevens. You know that there are many gates that open up throughout the material plane that lead to the different elemental planes. You actually lived not directly next to, but quite close to a gate to the elemental plane of air. It's where most of your air elementals and your the air genasi were basically originated from.
It's like the motherland.
Basically. But these gates can be opened and closed with or without malicious intent all across the material plane. And it would appear that there is one here, like next to Zafra. And you can actually kind of almost sense it, Corlina, the mention of the gate as you kind of like sit upright. You have that familiar feeling of your homeland, kind of close by. Kadan kind of. Now there is an issue that has arisen through the gate. There is a genie that has broken through. It does not bother us too much. The odd prank, a few insults here and there, but it is a distraction nonetheless.
So you want us to basically send it back home?
Either convince it to return or force it to.
Can we just kill it?
No.
We would prefer you not kill the genie. He has done no harm to us. He is a minor inconvenience. But an inconvenience nonetheless. If we are to continue our training and teachings, we cannot be distracted.
I think we've all seen enough killing and death for now. Let's be nice to the genie.
Yeah, if you think my elementals are bad, you should see the Jinn.
What is gin? Genie.
A type of alcoholic beverage, I believe.
Let's go! Sharpen your swords. Okay, not kill it.
I'm going to turn to Xan. Is this true? Can you drink a genie?
It would be quite difficult to do such a feat, but I don't believe anyone has ever tried to drink a genie.
Hey, watch this, guys.
Okay.
I wish you the best of luck if that is your intention. But if you're willing to aid us, I can take you to him now.
One question for you. I assume you're familiar with crossing planes and alternative, dimensions or whatever it might be.
Pocket dimensions, different realities, of
Can we
course.
succeed in removing this annoyance from you? some time to commune with you, as I feel I have something I need to discuss.
If you wish to confide in me, of course. Whether you are successful in this endeavor or not, you have been very kind guests. We have not had guests in some time, and if you
by
require my
chance-
help, I will provide it.
Did you by any chance get the genie's name that you want us to deal with?
He is a clever one. He did not provide us his name. No
Oh.
matter how tempting our requests were, we could not get his true name.
Did he have something that you called that he asked to be called by, or?
He did not.
Okay.
We just
Surely, is
called
this
him by
relevant in some
Genie.
way? Is this important?
It might be. Just not sure yet.
But if we know his name, we would have an advantage.
Possibly.
Okay.
Okay. So what are you guys wanting to do?
I'm ready to take on this genie when you guys are.
Yep, I'm loaded up and ready to go.
Okay.
I've always
Laura
wanted to be.
resituates her sash and
Mhm.
stands up.
And please, follow me.
While we're doing that, can I take a moment just to go over to Talar and just quietly say, how's it doing? Do you know?
She whispers back just as quietly and says, "It was a little warm last night, but it feels a little heavier. I need to find someone to talk to about this."
Yeah, you and me both.
Okay.
And then I'll keep walking.
As you guys walk through the village, you get to the northernmost region where there's a flat plain, almost like a discal outcropping on the rock, where there is a like 6 beacons of light that opens up like a golden colored gate. Just beyond that, there is a form wearing deep grey trousers with a red top dress, almost like a shirt. Has a brilliant white turban draped over its head with what looks to be a
Settle down,
scimitar.
Barkley.
Scabbard, a scimitar sheathed in a scabbard across its back. Creature doesn't appear to have any feet. It seems to just be floating in the air. Kind of looks to the group of newcomers, and Kadan kind of takes a step back. The genie has almost been successful in its temptations. I cannot aid you any further. It is...
Temptations of what?
The genie has been trying to get us to work for it. I do not know why it is running, why it has fled to the material plane. But it is asking us for help. We are sworn to guard the gate, to prevent people from going in unless necessary, and to prevent the evils coming out.
Okay.
The genie has not been evil so far, but it must return from whence it came.
So what's actually through the gate?
The gate is the entrance to the elemental plane of air, the home of all air elementals, and genies and such. It is can be a gentle place, but can be quite treacherous as well, if you're not adept at such conditions.
Oh, whichever the way wind blows. Air joke.
Air jokes. Well done, young one. Okay, so what are you guys doing?
I think we need a spokesperson, don't we? Natari,
Typically.
you're always good at this sort of thing.
Roger. Oh, hey dude, what are you? Another big fire monster or what?
As you approach and try and speak to the genie, it kind of turns around to you and says something that you don't understand.
Oh, you don't speak common, druidic, or?
It does, as far as you can tell, it does not speak common or druidic.
Can I hear what it said?
You speak celestial in celestial.
Let's see who does actually understand it. Victorlas, you do. Nathara, you don't. Temple, you do. Tolar, you don't. And Coralina... Actually, no, sorry. Coralina, you understand it. Victorlas, you understand it, yes. Temple, you don't. And Talar, you don't. So it's only Victorlas and Coralina that understand what it's saying. As Neftari approaches, it's just, come closer. Yes, you might be just fine.
Natari, stop. Don't get any closer to that thing.
Oh.
Why not? I'm just looking for some fun.
I look at the genie and I make the universal sort of drinky symbol and raise my eyebrow.
Ah, one of good tastes. Let me see what I have. And he kind of reaches like behind him, and you actually see a bottle kind of materialize in his hand, Neftari, as he then hands it out to you. It's quite a wide bottle with quite a thick cork on it.
Natari, get.
I'm sorry,
back.
Vic. I haven't had a drink since
Back from
yesterday.
that.
The druids had some mead. It would be different. I go over to the genie.
Okay, and what do you want to do? Do you take the bottle?
Take the bottle from him. Yes,
All right.
of course.
And what are you doing with it?
I tried to drink it.
All right, so you take the bottle, and he just kind of glides back and puts his hands together, like kind of interlocks his own fingers, just watching you, a smile on his face. You
I smile
pop.
back and say, so is this a potion that'll make it so we can understand each other, or what?
You pop the cork, and the moment you pop it, think of it like a shook up can of Coke. It just sprays some liquid all over your face, and you just hear the genie just that was so predictable. How did you not know that was going to happen?
I'm clapping. Arm's length, I'm clapping.
I expected something like that. What does it taste like, though?
As you kind of just like wipe it off your face, give it, you smell it, you lick it off your finger. It doesn't have a taste. Best bet, it's just water.
Oh,
Ooh, next, do me.
So, this one clearly doesn't understand me. You two seem to be able to speak the language. Did you find my trick amusing as well?
In some senses.
It's always hilarious to see Natari get sprayed in the face with something.
Oh, he's one to be sprayed in the face quite often, is he?
Pens are still writing.
Usually with blood.
You don't understand anything, Temple, so you cannot make any comment.
What house do you hail from?
A house? Oh, I do not have a house, unfortunately. I was excommunicated. I've been.
Which jinn are you sired from?
Oh, it has been quite some time, as the DM most definitely takes a look up at some list of Jin references, because I was not expecting that kind of question. I'm going to be deadly honest here.
I always try to take you off the rails.
Yeah, I hate you sometimes.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
because
what?
Jinns are so intelligent, this works.
Yes.
I can imagine a Jinn knowing of the existence of a DM, breaking the fourth wall. Like,
Shut up.
They travel to different planes and shit.
And they do. I mean, actually,
Are there
take a
any
look
like
here.
rocks nearby or boulders? Basically?
There are a couple, yes.
Okay. If there's one at least a decent distance away from the Jin, Talar's going to go and sit down on one of the rocks, boulders.
I'll go sit next to Talar since I can't understand what's being said.
So I'll approach the genie. What brings you here, my friend?
Wait one.
Jokes and your own enjoyment.
Doesn't actually have a list here of.
Look, man, I had to make mine up, so.
I know. I'm just actually looking to see if there's anything canon, but there's not from what I can see. So I'm just gonna like pluck one from the
Do it.
from the ether here. That'll do. Oh, my originator, there was bias. And unfortunately, as I've said, I am excommunicado. They do not
Okay.
wish me to remain in the elemental plane of air. I have been known to be a bit of a troublemaker.
It's assumed. Would I know anything about his originator? You said Basat?
No, it's Bass. As a
Bass.
Bravo Echo Yankee Sierra. Bass.
Okay. Do I know anything about a Jin by the name of Bayes?
Go ahead and roll me a history check, or you already have. Oh wait, no, that was
No,
the old
that's-
one. Never mind.
That's
Sorry.
previous, because
Yeah.
I keep rolling goddamn sevens.
There's 5. You don't really recognize the name. You know that like, most genies like tend to stick to the elemental plane of air unless summoned. And the genies that are excommunicado are banished essentially. They do something that goes outside of their societal norms. So if this genie is a bit of a troublemaker, then perhaps BS may be more of a peace, like maybe looking more for peace more than trouble, or could be simply more aggressive rather than tricky. But you're not quite sure.
My originator is the Eastern Wind Jin Ikala.
Ikala, very interesting. Yes, because you are, and you just flows really quickly and actually gets right up into your face, Coralina. It's like, you are
Flinch.
Air Genasi, of course. I would recognize that blue flare anywhere. But I am assuming the old coot behind you who not taken upon my requests has asked you to be gone with me, of course. And he kind of slowly floats backwards.
I think it would be assumed, since you seem to be causing a little bit of mischief.
I'm just having some fun. A few pranks here and there. Maybe trying to convince them to help me return to where I'm from, but not in a violent manner. If I were to return there, I would probably be, well, banished again or worse.
When you say help them with what? Help you with what?
Well, help me return to my home and remove the issue that is causing my banishment. Of course.
What'd you do?
I may or may not have been making some jokes and having a little fun in the main palace grounds, and PS may or may not have been the unintended victim of my fun.
My father is a very powerful sorcerer, and we have very close ties with some of the most powerful dragons on this world.
And kind of flows straight down and gets right up into your face. Alright, you know, it's very interesting.
Maybe we could make things right back on your plane for you, using their power.
Are they here now?
We can contact them easily enough.
That does not answer my question. Are they here now? Can you gather them at a moment's notice? Can they be here in a few moments?
It would take a great sacrifice to do so.
Then you are of no use to me. And he kind of just abruptly turns away from you. Like the wisps of air that almost represents his hair kind of like whaps you in the face gently as he turns around very melodramatically and floats away from you.
Flora takes a moment to kind of. She's watching what's going on, and she looks over to Victralis. He seems kind of full of himself.
I don't know.
Just from his actions, she can't understand anything, but she's just watching his actions, and she's just like,
You're reading his body language and expression.
Are you just
Right.
asking for safe return to the plane of air itself, or
Oh
are you just looking to
no.
get back in?
I want to get home, and I want to be rid of the filth that is banishing me, of course. Abayas must be removed in some way, shape, or form, be it banished himself, or if his miserable existence were to end in a very glorious fashion.
Coralina, I've already offered this guy our help. He doesn't want it, so
You have
he's
You have
clearly just
offered
accepted.
me help. You have offered me help, which is of no immediate use.
And I'm going to turn around and start walking away from him.
He very abruptly glides straight down in front of you and actually blocks your path. Do not turn your back on me. And very angry all of a sudden. You will aid me, be it now or in the next few moments. But you will help me. I need you to roll a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
$15. You can feel that he's trying to intimidate you, and like you can feel the tendrils of the air like that is flowing around him kind of try and seep into your form to try and twist and manipulate you. You just kind of waft the air around you and dissipate it. Kind of floats back a couple of inches, kind of looking shocked that his attempt at suggestion doesn't work.
came here to bargain, not to fight. If you're not willing to bargain, then there's no reason for me to be here.
And then if I am not willing to bargain, and he kind of floats around to the front, then you will be forced to fight. If you are not willing to help me, I will do whatever I can to destroy this village and their people. Open the gate, allowing any monstrosities from the elemental plane of air to flow through and wreak havoc on this world. I want
So
I need Victorilas and Coralina, since you guys are the only one to understand this, to roll me an insight check very quickly.
Also, those words have made me really fucking angry. I'm just hearing the words of my father.
So,
An 11.
allow me if I have this correctly. You are seeking either this village's assistance or our assistance. And if we don't, you'll fight us anyway. However, you're still at disadvantage with this. And
Oh, I am? Please explain. And his demeanor has completely changed the moment you start speaking, Coralina.
I happen to be quite well connected. My full name is Coralina Isina Ira, heiress of House Ramiel, under Ikala.
And like his face just immediately drops. You. Oh, there have been whispers throughout the elemental plane of air of your departure. Oh, this you will do. Kind of abruptly floats forward and gets right up into your face once again. You will come with me. You are going to return home. I secure you. I secure my free return. He grabs you by the wrist and starts forcing you back towards the gate.
Oh man,
Guys,
Temple's
guys.
not going to react well to that. I'm going to try and grab the gin.
Fleur stands up and
Go ahead and roll me a strength check at disadvantage, as you're essentially trying to grab something that doesn't really have a true physical form. A 15. You grab onto Carolina, like phasing through the genie, grab onto Carolina and pull her back, like wrap your arms around her and pull her back. His hand is like Carolina's wrist slips out of his grasp as you manage to pull her back.
In my anger, after what he's just said, and hearing what's just happened behind me, I am going to swing round with my bow, knock an arrow, and take a shot at the motherfucker.
Go ahead and roll me an attack.
Do I get... no, I guess...
18 just hits for 7 points of piercing damage, as he's not expecting it. His form stays
my
physical.
Would it be considered a sneak attack?
No, he's aware of you. Like,
I didn't expect that. I thought the arrow would go straight through him.
the arrow itself, his form, it almost seems like he's able to like manipulate his form into manifest into a like something physical that you could touch, like at will.
Okay.
Okay. With that, I'm going to... Oh, no. Pause, please. Thank you. Why did that start playing? That's weird. With that, we are going to move you over to here. I would like... I will give you... You should still have control of all of your tokens. I would like you all to rearrange yourselves into your desired formation for fight.
Okay.
Because I was walking away. So
You're free to do so as you wish.
Close by temple because he manhandled the shit out of me.
Cool.
Let's see.
Sitting on the
So-
rock.
Yeah, I was sitting on a rock, so I guess I'd be on one of these ones over here.
Okay. Okay. And the gene would actually be like about here, as he's just broken free of that. Okay. With that, I would like everyone to roll initiative.
it was all going so well.
Turn down rhythm.
Kill the thing. Was that a check?
I don't. Mine went off, did it? Nope.
Right, I need to get my initiative tracker up here because I wasn't expecting this, I'll be honest. I was not expecting an attack from Natali here. So,
Touch my friends and fuck you up, man. Threaten to bring evil shit through portal and fuck you up, man. Not good with either of those things.
Temple must protect.
Protect small.
must protect. Protect your neck. Right, let me go to my initiative tracker here. I hope this is the right one that I've saved. It should be. Yes, it is. Cool. Right, and we're going to roll its initiative.
You scroll your
7.
stream player preview thingy up a bit because the magic circle looks awesome and we can't see it. There you go.
How's that? Is that looking a lot better? Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
There, and you can still see everything that's going on. Cool. Right, where am I? I'm on the wrong page here. Save that. So how much damage did you do? 7 points of piercing damage, was it, yeah?
7, yeah.
Cool. Right, it's at that much HP. Right, so initiative call, please. Victorlas, initiative.
17.
Natari.
15.
Temple.
21.
Talar.
11.
Carolina.
11.
Cool. Cool. Carolina, what is your initiative, your dex score? Not
My
the
dex
modifier, your
score?
dex score.
13.
And Talar, what is your dex score?
10.
10. Okay, that doesn't work. That's unfortunate. Right, for this, we'll just sort it like that. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can't actually put in a comma or like a 0.1 or something, like 0.12 or something like that for the for initiative ties, but unfortunately not. Right, cool. First up, Temple, is your turn in initiative as we break combat.
Oh man, I'm not happy, and everyone's got their weapons out. I'm gonna go straight for him. I'm gonna go straight for him. With various attacks.
All right, go ahead and roll your attacks.
First, I'd like to use Shield of Faith on Coralie.
Okay, Shield of Faith on Carolina. That's a +2 to your AC, right?
And now, time to roll those attacks. Of course,
Okay.
with Divine Strike as well. if I
Divine
can.
Smite, of course. Okay, using your longsword. 22 will hit for 18 points. And what level are you casting your Divine Smite at?
Level 3, please.
3, that's 4 points of... 4d8, sorry, not 4 points, 4d8 of radiant damage. 17, so that's 35 points of damage. Jeez, oh.
Is there any cold damage? Oh wait, no, never mind. That's the.
Nope, that's your longsword you're using. So 35 drops it down to that much health. I almost fucked that up. As your first strike hits it. And the second attack. Yeah, no, it makes sense. For a 30 to hit for 12 points. Yep.
Another level 3 divine strike.
Another level 3, that's 48. For another 19. Jeez, oh. Dropping it down to that much health as your second strike both physically connect, cutting through the genie's form. The flash of negative light as your both your strikes manage to slash through it, but the genie's form kind of reforms into itself, and it just kind of reaches up and draws the scimitar from its scabbard and just looks down at you. You've got the rest of your movement.
No, must protect small.
Must protect small. And no problem. With that, we move on to Victorlas. It's your turn in initiative.
Okey-doke. I'm gonna make a run to there with my movement.
Yeah, go for it.
As I'm running, I'm gonna shout, "We didn't come here for a fight. We can help you if you just give us a chance." And then I'm gonna draw another arrow and take another shot.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
Oh, hang on. Bonus action. That's a smart motherfucker.
Okay, yep. He is marked. 22 will hit for 8 points of piercing damage. Roll your d6 Hunter's Mark for 2 and your d8 Colossus Slayer. 5, dropping down to that much health. As you draw and knock your arrow, letting loose, the arrow sails clean through the target, and yet hear the arrow just scatter on the rock behind. But the hole that's left in the genie's chest just seals over again.
Great, I'm gonna take another shot.
Alright, go for it. A 30 will hit for 13.
And 1d6.
So that's 19 points of damage. Dropping it down to that much health. Okay.
I'm gonna end my turn there.
Alright, cool. That will move on to Neth'Tari. It's your turn in initiative. Where did I put it? There it is, yeah. Sorry, what was that there? Yeah, I could barely hear you there.
My internet got disconnected.
Oh shit. Alright.
Oh, shit. Ah, there we go. That's working now. Hee. So it's your turn in initiative, Neth'Tari.
Okay, I assume I've still got the bottle thing. I've been sipping it while sitting here on the rocks.
Well, it's just water after all. So yeah.
So I want to toss it in the gate to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll just be your bonus action for this. You like look over and just chuck it into the gate. There is a as the bottle itself just vanishes, and you You're not sure of what has become of the said bottle. It's just vanished.
Are you fucking littering in the airplane?
I don't know. Am I? I thought we weren't supposed to kill this guy anyway.
We're not supposed to kill this guy.
What did you guys say to him?
It's kind of a
More
long
than we
story.
can say in 6 seconds it takes for you to take your turn.
I'll explain later. Just go.
Yeah.
Let's call down lightning on him.
Okay. Neftari, call lightning.
6th level?
6th level. Oof. Stormcloud peers 60 feet.
I go up to him first.
Alright, where are you going? There. Okay. I'm just going to make this white so it's easier to see on the background here. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That's 40 feet there.
We'll make it the whole. I move my whole.
40. 45, 50, 55, 60 feet. Right there. And I'll pop that down. That's about centered on you. There we go. And you're going to call it down on him, yeah?
Yep.
I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. It's a little loud for me. Right, so Natari, call lightning. It'd be a dex save of 14 for 6d10 of, is it lightning damage?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, lightning damage. I'll go ahead and roll the 6d10. .42 as the bolt strikes down. I'm going to assume it's going to be here so it doesn't hit anyone else but the genie or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and stop him.
Cool. The bolt of lightning streaks down and bursts through the genie and dissipates on the ground. He just kind of turns and looks to you. Ha! You must try better than that. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
No, not for now.
Okay. With that, we're going to move on to Carolina. It is your turn in initiative.
All right. Did you get my ping?
I did get your ping, yes.
Okay. Just making sure I gave you enough fair warning so you can hunt for monster cards.
Way ahead of
I'm
you.
going to. Okay. Excellent. So, I'm going to do our house rule of blowing 2 level 4 spell slots to summon some friends.
Yep. As Sir Barclay there in the distance fades out of existence for a few moments. How many are you summoning?
I'm going the full Monty with these methods. I believe it's 4 of them.
4?
I get to summon.
Up to 4.
Yes, it's 4.
Cool. My mouse is tweaking out like mad and I'm sick of it. 2, 3, and 4. Where would you like them positioned?
Alright,
If you just use your ruler to point them out, that'd be
gotcha.
great.
I'll ping for you. Like, one right here,
One
right here.
there,
one right here,
there,
and then one next to my middle.
one next to your metal friend. Cool. As Coralina kind of like reaches down and touches the like some of the ice that's kind of formed onto the ground from the early morning like sub-zero temperatures, she kind of then raises her hands as 4 creatures seem to just form up from the frost and then land on their feet and kind of glance up to this genie as 4 ice method appear surrounding the genie.
I'm gonna tell the genie, I don't want to do this. However, if you still want to turn me in, then I have no choice.
Okay. For your free action, what are you commanding your method to do?
Readying it in case he says no.
Okay, so you're just so
Like I'm waiting for his reply first before I give a command.
okay, because it's your bonus
Yeah.
action, isn't it?
Well,
Or
I
no. Well, it's on verbal command, so because you're not actually going to be, unless you want to use your full action to do that.
well, you gave summoning sickness anyway, so
Yeah, it is summoning sickness as well, but at the same time though, if you hold your action for that kind of thing, like in future, you will use your entire action to do that because you can't hold an order for
I mean,
a minion.
that's fine. My action
Is that
was
okay?
to summon them, so I'm just trying to get a reply out of the Jin of either yes or no, or I go fuck myself.
Okay, no problem. So
Then
you're just waiting.
I
All right,
see. Yep, my methods are gonna defend. So
cool. Then Talar, it is your turn in initiative. The genie's not going to get a chance to respond just yet.
Okay.
So, initial reaction when the genie grabbed Coralina was to stand up and ready her spiritual weapon. And
Okay.
during all of this, she stops for a moment and thinks, remembering what the elder had requested, to remove him without killing him. She dismisses her small ball of fire and holds her arms out and attempts banishment.
Ooh,
Fourth level.
banishment, 4th level spell. Okay, let's see here. You attempt to send one creature that you can see within range to another plane of existence. Target must succeed on a charisma saving throw of DC 16 or be banished. The target is native to the plane of existence you're on. You banish the target to a harmless demiplane. While there, the target is incapacitated. The target remains there until the spell ends, at which point the target reappears in the space it left or in the nearest unoccupied space if that space is occupied. The target is native to a different plane of existence than when you're on. The target is banished with a faint popping noise, returning to its home plane. The spell ends before 1 minute has passed. The target reappears in the space it left or in the nearest occupied space if that space is occupied. Otherwise, the target doesn't return. When you cast a spell using a slot of 5th level or higher, you can target one additional creature for each slot above 4th level. Let's take a look here.
Send the icy things with him.
No.
Just so I can bite him a bit.
No.
Little ice
Ice Rock
gremlins.
Temple.
She's not sending friendlies away.
Okay.
She's targeting the...
As a DC 16 of charisma, this is going to be a difficult one. That is a 28 to save.
Oh god.
As you attempt to banish the genie, you see the gate almost kind of extends out and kind of envelops the genie, and he kind of like looks around. No, this will not happen. Slashes the scimitar across the gate itself as the gate just kind of splits. The banishment fails as the gate then just returns to where it once was. Anything else you'd like to try on your turn? You've got your bonus action and your movement.
I think she's going to... Let's see here. I'm going to have her back up just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And... let's see, which one do I do? 5th level spiritual weapon. We'll bring that up.
5th level spiritual weapon. For 2d8 plus 4. Where were you wanting that, sorry?
Right here.
Cool. Right there it is. And giving you control of your... and do that so that I know which level you've cast it at. There we are. So go ahead and roll your d20 plus 8 for the attack. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. 14, that will miss as the Phoenix erupts from the gout of flames in the ground and racks its talons trying to get to the genie. The genie just kind of leans back. It's the gaseous form just completely avoiding the Phoenix as it kind of glances over from it and looks over to you and just smiles.
And Talara does not look amused.
Okay.
That shall be it for the moment.
Give me uno momento. Player's handbook is needed, and I love having my little bookshelf next to me. It makes things so much easier. I wish I'd done that a lot easier. Where is it? 15-foot cube. Originating from you. Will Carolina be caught with this technically? I need Neftari and Temple to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. I've started typing save because S skips the song, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it can.
Oh boy.
Both fail as you then take where is it? It is 5, 6, 7 points of thunder damage, and you are pushed 10 feet back each way. Carolina, go ahead and roll me a dex save, please.
Oh god damn it.
Oh, wait, actually, hold on, wait one. I need to quickly double check something with the temple here.
I'm fixing to get like conked in the face by a warforged.
£500 if you were wondering.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't
goddamn.
that. It wasn't that. I was wanting to see if no, you don't have the trait. That means you can't be moved. Like, you can't be unwillingly moved.
How did Coralina die?
A
Fucking
6.
warforged.
Yeah, Carolina, you're knocked back 5 feet as Temple comes flying back and actually cracks you in the chest. You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as a 500-pound metal warforged collides with you. Temple and Nethari, you guys are both knocked prone as the oh shit, actually. Let's see here as well. What is their con? Fail, pass, fail, and fail. How much thunder damage did you guys take? Sorry.
10.
10. Cool.
It wasn't 10.
Or was it?
Oh, was it not? What was it?
No, it was
7?
7.
Oh, I'll heal 3 then.
Yeah, 7 points of thunder damage. As the method here.
Does it expire?
The method did not expire, although it would have been this one. There's a third one. Takes that much, and that I keep clicking the wrong thing, and that drops down to that much. Is knocked back 10, 10, 10. Is prone, and is prone as the thunder wave rips through them. Thunder wave rips through almost all of you. as he kind of drives his scimitar into the ground and just a large thunderous echo just rips through you all, knocking you all back. That is bonus action. No, or is that? No, okay, that's it. With that, we move up to the top of the initiative order. Temple, it's your turn on initiative.
Oh man,
Please get off me!
that thunder really hurt. I'm gonna use half my movement to stand up.
Okay.
Sorry. And then I'm going to take a step, and then I'm going to take another step.
Okay. And you're going to make an attack.
Yes. And I'm not even going to try and do anything fancy. I'm just going to attack it.
Alright, go for it. An 18, that will just hit.
Okay, I'd like to do a level 3 Divine Strike.
That will be 4d8. So 17 to 31 points. Drops it down to that much health as the flash of divine light manages to strike through it effectively.
Well, let's go again. Oops.
17. No, unfortunately, that just misses as you manage to slice through the like the genie. Its form kind of splits apart and then reforms as your blade unfortunately doesn't seem to do anything on 17.
Oh well. Are you ready to give up yet, Mr. Genie? We have magnets.
How do they work, though?
Nobody knows.
Further research is needed.
Anything else you want to do on your turn, Temple?
No, I'm just gonna stand here and
No
hope for
problem.
the best.
Move on to Victorlas. It's your turn in initiative.
So far, none of the weapon strikes have held solid in this thing, have they?
Not really, no.
I'm gonna keep my perimeter run, I think. Where can I still see him from? How tall is this rock thing?
The rock formation is about 10 feet tall, so if you go behind it, you will lose line of sight of him.
Can I climb up on it?
It would be difficult terrain, so climbing up onto it will be double movement.
With 30 feet, I could get to the top, maybe?
Yeah, if you went straight up, then yes. That would be 15, 15, and then that would be 25. So no, you'd be able to get up to there, up to the first layer. You wouldn't be able to get up onto top, unfortunately.
Cool. Alright, let's do that for starters. As I run past Tilar, I'm gonna shout in. Oh my god! I'm assuming she knows Celestial. I'm hoping she does. In Celestial, I'm gonna say we need to get that thing in the portal as quick as we can. Spread the word, but don't speak in Primordial.
As Victorlas runs past you, Tilar, he says something in a very beautiful language, but a language you don't understand.
Did I hear that?
You not at this time, unfortunately. I'll let you roll a perception check on your turn, but at the moment,
I would have
because
said
it's
it quite
victorious.
loud. Okay, fuck.
On his turn.
Alright, cool.
I still do need to choose my secondary language.
Okay.
You'll do that after this combat, because I'm not going to let you just pick the language
no, I know.
right now,
No,
unfortunately.
that's not what I was asking. It was just a reminder. I still need to do that.
Okay, from my rocky position, I'm just gonna attack him with a longbow again.
Now go ahead and roll the attack. Won't need any of them. 17 will not hit as you let loose the arrow and it just sails overhead. You just hear it scatter across the kind of a rocky floor off into the distance.
I'm gonna draw back another arrow and I'm gonna shout out. You're going home one way or the other. Make it easy on yourself.
21, that will hit for 6 points of damage. Your D600's mark.
Roll one.
And your D8 Colossus Slayer. Drops it into that much health. As the second arrow actually manages to find purchase into the the left shoulder, just impacts with a dull thud, and then its form kind of ripples, and the arrow just clatters to the ground as it phases through his body. Just glances over to you. Somehow I do not think so. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Nethitari, that is your turn in initiative. I would immediately like you to roll me I'll give you the option, either a strength save or a dex save. I'll give you the option.
I'll go for the dex if I...
Okay, go for the dex save. And 8. As you're on the deck, you kind of like you feel a pressure upon you, and you can physically feel yourself moving. And as you try and like roll out of the way, trying to avoid the this pool, you do manage to roll, but you're pulled back 5 feet as this gate to the elemental plane of air tries to draw you in.
Is it bad if we go through the gate?
Let's assume yes.
No bar there. Well, lightning doesn't seem to hit this thing. There's so many giant rhino. Not here. Rhinos. No, I'll just summon some great big brown bears.
Brown bears. Cool. Let's go here. Brown bear. There you go.
Rather than have them attack on my next turn, I just want them to try and shove the genie
All right. So where do you want them summoned?
at the far side of the genie to me.
The far side of the genie. All right.
Yeah,
So there's
that whole area around.
there. Put one there, and the other one will be like here, kind of growling and looking at him aggressively. Does that look good?
Yep, when they attack, I want it to be like a rugby scrum sort of a...
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to do on your turn? Sorry, what was that?
There's supposed to be 4 bears, I think.
Was it 4? Put another one down. Let's say it's over here. How's that look?
I'm sure it's fine, yep. So long as they're all round it. Can I try crawling away while remaining prone? Does that do any good?
You can crawl away if you'd like. Your movement speed is halved if you're prone. So you'll only be able to move 15 feet.
Yeah, I would assume if I stand up and I'm getting dragged backwards, I will get dragged backwards even more.
Well, if you stand up, it'll take half your movement, but you'll still be able to move the full 15 feet.
I'm just going to try to crawl 15 feet.
All right, cool. As you're crawling, you manage to get to there. I want you to roll me a strength save, please. 4. As you get to hear the pull from the portal, just kind of like you managed to get away from it. You were basically on the cusp of the portal, but you managed to get away from it. But as you're crawling, that's as far as you can get, as the strength just kind of tries to drag you back. With that, move on to Carolina's turn. Before you go, Carolina, however, I'm going to roll that. Okay. You guys watch as the mephit that was next to Neftari, just this one here, just gets sucked back into the through the gate and phases into the elemental plane of air. That's on to you, Carolina. Whatever you want to do now. That was the only thing that was left to happen.
Yeah. Okay. I'm probably gonna try something very, very stupid.
I like stupid.
We like that.
Alright, so let me see what I can do with my things. Alright, so, I'm gonna try to yell. I assume there's a lot of howling wind right now because we're dealing with air elementals and shit.
Well, it's a genie. It's
It's a genie. It's
It
like
is
a
an
present.
It's an elemental, but there's no like whistling wind or anything like that. There's a gentle breeze from that's emanating from the genie itself.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to do my best to yell over at Neftari. Neftari, say you consent.
Neftari, do you consent?
Consent?
Miss Neftari, everyone consented.
Oh god damn it! Yeah, what would you like to do now?
I'm gonna use it's from my school of conjuration. It's known as benign transposition. I can switch places with a creature medium or small.
You can use your action to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see, or you can choose to swap places with a small or medium willing creature within range. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, or you cast a conjuration spell of first level or higher. With that, where was it? Was it there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you were there. As
You're welcome.
you pop up there, roll me a strength save, Carolina.
Oh goddamn.
17. As you like blink and immediately swap places with Natar, you immediately feel a force from behind you, kind of trying to drag you back. But you've experienced this many a times, being close to a gate to the elemental plane of air. You're used to it, and you just kind of lean back like, oh, and then find your footing again and just press forward.
Hang on, I'm looking. And then I will burn it's a bonus action to do this. Go ahead and try to misty step forward.
Yeah, where do you want to misty step? Go for it.
Alright, I believe it's 25 feet, yeah?
30 feet up to for misty step.
Alright. And we'll pop over right here.
Cool. And is that it for you?
Transition. I'm gonna order my 3 remaining. Is there 3 remaining methods?
3 remaining method. Yep.
Yeah, my 3 remaining methods to approach and attack.
Okay. Moves on to the method on your turn in initiative. This one here is going to get up and move 5-10 feet to here and go for an attack with its claws. Yep. That's a miss, unfortunately. as it kind of lashes out and its claws just seem to phase through the genie. And this one here is going to use half of its movement to stand up. Move 5, 10, 15 feet to here. And the last method is going to swing out. It's going to be another miss, unfortunately, as it lashes through the genie. Its form just kind of like rips apart, but then just immediately rephases and just that almost tickled. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Carolina?
That's it. That's it for me.
Moves on to Talar. It's your turn in initiative.
Frustrated with the first attempt having failed, she reaches up and clasps her symbol and just concentrates for a moment and tries banishment again.
4th level.
Yes.
All right. Charisma save,
Same
DC
save with all of
16. Yep. He saves. As you, again, you clasp your holy symbol. The soft violet glow emits from your hands, and you can feel Saloon kind of, like, you can sense Saloon's watching over you, and you direct the gate to flow over to the genie. Again, he just turns around, slashes at it with the scimitar. No, I will not go back there unwillingly.
She sighs a little bit and commands her phoenix to attack.
Okay, it's a D20 plus 8 for the attack, please. That's an 11. That will not hit, unfortunately. I'm going to try something here. Attack. Right, can you type exclamation point update for me, please, Talar, very quickly? And then exclamation point A and just hit enter. I just want to check something here. No, it doesn't pop up. That sucks.
What?
Because there's an option to display a spiritual weapon as an attack. But it doesn't pop up as an attack.
What do you need to see?
You do that? No, that doesn't work. No, I was going to see if you can do like if you could just have spiritual weapon as your as an attack, but it doesn't work, unfortunately. I was trying to see if you can just roll it, but it doesn't work.
Ah.
Okay. Anything else on your turn at all, Talar?
At this point, no.
No. Okay. We move back to the genie's turn. The
DM, I also never got a reply from the genie. Did he just refuse to reply? If so, that's cool.
sorry, what did you say? I completely lost. I forgot about that, I'll be honest.
I said I don't want to have to do this, but if I basically said I'm not going with you. If you keep continuing, I have no choice but to attack you.
Okay.
That was when the ice gremlins were waiting to get a command.
Yeah, I remember. No, I remember that now. He on the genie's turn, he kind of glances over to you, Carolina. This is going to guarantee me my way home. Of course I'm going to continue. You will have to defend yourself, otherwise I will take you home, and I will secure my freedom. With that, kind of spins his hands together and just lets loose a torrent of air just over here in this direction, just next to him, and just says, I by myself am amazing as it is, but what if there were more? As
Is he attempting to spell?
he is casting a spell at the moment. Yes.
I'd like to counterspell.
Cool. Uno momento, please. I'm just wanting to double check something. What level are you casting the spell at?
I don't trust this fucker, so I'm casting it at 5th level.
At 5th level, cool. And I'm pretty sure if it's 5th level, it just immediately ends, right? If it's casting a spell 4th level, make an ability check. So 4th level, higher the spell, less than or equal to the spell slot you used. Okay. He raises his hands and swirls them around, letting loose a torrent of air to the floor just ahead of him. You recognize this. You've seen this kind of magic being used before. You've used it yourself. As you immediately just whip through your spell book, managing to stop on your counter spell and let it loose. The air just, as it begins to coalesce, just dissipates in a sudden gust of wind, and he kind of glances over to you. You're going to regret that, my lady. As you successfully counter his conjure elemental. Bitch. With that, it moves up to Temple. It's your turn in initiative.
Call me old-fashioned, but I'd like to do something controversial here. I'm going to attack him with my longsword.
Okay.
I know. Actually, no. I want to take this out, and it is still a bit warm in here, so I'm going to switch instead, with my bonus action, to my Great Axe of Frostbane.
Yep.
And what fun this will be. I'm going to strike down at that fair genie.
Alright, go ahead and roll your attack with your Great Axe of Frostbane. 15, that will not hit. As you swing through, his form kind of splits in two as you kind of drive the Great Axe down through to him, and then just coalesces back around.
Why let the momentum of the axe stop? Tornado Temple, I attack again.
As you then swing around and bring the Great Axe towards him, a 13 does not hit. As he just... Oh, you're not having a good time today, are you?
I'm dizzy. That was your last warning. That was a warning spin. That'll do me.
Hold on a second. Cool, right. With that, I was just checking something there. That moves on to Victorious. It's your turn in initiative.
Oh, he functions. Okay, right. First thing I'm going to do is slip into shadow.
Alright, that's your bonus action. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Sure thing.
19. Okay. For all you know, it no longer knows where you are.
And then I'm going to use some of my movement to get up to the highest point on this rock I can.
Yeah, it will just be 10 feet to get to the top. One square up.
There.
No, one square directly up, so this one here.
There.
There you go, that's it.
Am I high enough to get a decent vantage point now?
I'd say you're just high enough to get a decent vantage point, so you'll be at advantage.
And I'm going to shoot arrows.
Cool. Go ahead and roll your first attack.
Advantage, yeah?
Yep. 21. That will hit for 6 points of piercing damage. Go ahead and roll your d6 claw, Hunter's Mark. Your d6 for sneak attack.
Sneaky.
And your
Oh, it's a
d8
plus.
Colossus Slayer. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, drops it down to that much health as the first arrow sails through and sinks into the genie's back. Again, his form dissipates and you watch the arrow clatter to the ground. He just kind of turns around and glances over to the rock. Doesn't seem to like pick you out from the rocks.
Cool. As I'm doing so, I'm now going to shout into Draconic, which is what I should have done in the first place. Get that bastard into that portal any way you can, and then I'm going to launch my other longbow.
Okay. Well, we'll say you're doing this as you're firing your attack, because if you stop to do that, it will be the rest of your attack action to do that. So we'll say you're doing it as you're firing your attack. 27 will hit for 9 points of piercing damage. Go ahead and roll your d6 of Hunter's Mark. And a d6 for sneak attack. Is it once per turn?
Once per turn.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. So that is 9, 10, 11, 12. Drops them down to that much health as the arrow sinks into the genie as he turns around and glances over to you. You're very annoying. You know that, right? As the arrow then.
Has he seen me now?
He has seen you, yes.
Oh, bastard.
Anything else you want to do in your turn?
No, end of my turn there.
No problem. Tari, it's your turn in initiative.
Right, I'll my best to try and just carry him back towards us.
Okay, right. Let's see what we can do here. I want you to. Have you got your stat block for a bear there? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Go ahead and roll me 4 strength checks with the bears, please, and I will roll a contested strength.
+4 and 19. So I'm rolling a d20.
So wait, what did you say there?
The strength is 19 with a +4.
A +4, yeah. So you're rolling a d20 at +4, and you're going to do that 4 individual times, please. So fail. Fail. Oh no, save. Fail, save. Fail. Save. As the bears managed to drag him successfully back, heading towards the portal. Can you roll a strength save for one of the bears, please?
That be a +4 as well for a save or not?
No, it should say saving throws there, like underneath. If it doesn't have a plus to it, then it's just its base. So yeah, no, yeah, actually +4. So that's a 70. It still fails, unfortunately. As the bear here, the one that's closest to it, closest to the genie. What's its movement speed? It's 40, right? As the bear here, like the wind below flowing into the gate drags the bear deep into the gate, and it just vanishes into through the gate to the elemental plane of air. The genie man just kind of lets the tendrils of his form flow backwards, and he just kind of like waves his head about as if it was his hair blowing in the wind. Just it's very gentle.
Okay, I'll look over Caroline. What happened through there?
Would I know what happens?
Roll me an intelligence check, Coralina. 16. You know that depending on where you're put out into the elemental plane of air, you could be dropped into somewhere where the breeze is very gentle and it's very soothing, or he could be dropped into a maelstrom and be torn apart.
It's a 50-50 shot whether or not your bear's dead.
Thanks for saving me.
No problem.
Right, stand up and move sideways one space.
Okay.
Possibly back away a little from the monster.
Forgot that's away. What were you saying there, sorry? One step back. Yep. Okay. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn? You've got your action, bonus action.
My concentration is on the bears.
Yep.
Oh, the tidal wave might knock him prone.
Tidal wave. Let me take a look here. And all right. What are you trying?
So concentration on bears.
30 feet long, 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall.
Yeah, I'll cast a tidal wave starting on the creature and finishing it on the portal. Again.
Like that way?
Yep.
Basically like that,
Flat
yeah.
bears as well, they're all kind of grappled on.
The bears will be fine because they're kind of like they're not really grappling onto him. They're kind of like growling and snarling and like kind of raising up onto their hind legs and dropping him down, kind of forcing him back. Cool. That is a DC 14 Dex save. I need you. What level are you casting this at? Just third or?
Yeah, just third.
Just at third. Cool. Go ahead and roll 4d8 of bludgeoning damage as he. That is a Dex. Fails miserably for 22 points of bludgeoning damage, dropping down to that much health, and he is knocked prone. That one, sorry. Knocked prone as the large torrent of water just collapses into him and knocks him down onto his front form. As you watch as the tidal wave kind of dissipates behind him, all of the water just sucked up into the gates like quite rapidly, and dissipates through into the elemental plane of air.
He's not forced back at all.
He is not. He is not prone.
Goddamn.
There is no movement with the tidal wave other than being knocked prone.
Yeah, turn over.
Alright, cool. With that, we move on to Carolina. It is your turn in initiative.
Alright, I want to tell my methods to advance on him and freeze him out.
Okay. With that, they're going to move to there. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet to there, flying. And then 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to there, flying. With that, they're all going to use their Frost Breath. So that's a DC 10 Dex save for the genie. Fail. 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 I hate these dice. I'm going to change them up for next session.
Well, they're prone. He's prone anyway, so.
Yeah, you get disadvantage on them anyway, but I mean, they're all fails regardless.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, it's good you're keeping track. So this is cold damage of, so 6d6 essentially. So that was 3, 4, 6. That was cocked. 10, 12, 13 points of cold damage to him as they all just let loose their frost breath onto him. That much health. 2 of them make strength saves. Fail and fail as Zip. 2 of your methods are then sucked into the portal and vanish into the elemental plane of air. The other one, the last surviving one, rolls a 6 and recharges its frost breath. It's your turn.
Alright. And how far away is this genie from the portal?
The genie is 10-15 feet away from the effectively passing through the portal.
Okay. Let's see what I can do here, if there's anything I can do, necessarily. Fuck it, I'm just gonna nuke him in the face.
Just
Alright,
gonna
so...
nuke him in the face.
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm trying not to hurt my companions here. We'll move up 15 feet, so I don't get my friends nuked.
Cool.
And because I'm in fear for my life and possible forceful return to the plane of air, I'll crank it at 6th level with a lightning bolt.
Ooh, 6th level lightning bolt. It's a dex save 15 for 11d6.
Yep.
He fails.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll your 11d6 of lightning damage. 42 as the
as I'm charging my laser, I'll tell him in primordial, you know nothing of what my Lord Father is capable of. He's taught me well, and I'll unleash.
And then as the lightning bolt surges into his body, he just, I think Thanos as he puts the Mind Stone into the Infinity Gauntlet, just kind of flexes out. He has not taught you well enough, little one.
That's all I got right now.
No problem. With that, moves on to Talar's turn in initiative.
I have a thought, but I don't know if it's going to work, so I have a question.
I have an answer.
4th level, what is it? Control water, redirect flow. Well, okay, couple questions. One, is there any water within 300 feet of us?
You're not sure. There could be, but
Because my next question is the redirect flow. Would that basically be just like a couple of inches on the ground, or can I basically form it almost into like a tidal wave form and shove it at him if I can find water?
Tidal wave, I cast, the water disappears.
Yeah, the water dissipates, but let me see. You could funnel it in a specific direction and make an attempt at like a shove if that's what you're trying, but you don't know if there's any water within 300 feet of you. You could make an attempt and hope that it works, but even if you do make an attempt, even if there's no water, the spell slot would be consumed.
Right.
So are you going to attempt it?
Well, I think at this point it's either that or try banishment again, and this is something interesting, so we'll try, see if I can locate some water nearby.
High or low?
Hi.
High. All right. What is your save DC on your character sheet?
What, on the spell?
Yeah, just like on your spells at the top, you'll have a save DC next to your spell attack. What is it? 16. Okay.
Can I make things interesting for you?
As you you kind of drop to the ground and spread your fingers across the floor and close your eyes and focus. You guys all watch as Talar kind of raises her hands, and there is a torrent of water that floods over the sides of this plain, this little basically plate of ground that you're on that leads to the gate. And I'm assuming you want to force it to flow into the genie.
Right, kind of in the
So it would flow from the side and then push him up like that, essentially.
right, trying to avoid everyone else here.
Okay. Yeah. No, you can direct it like that, so it'd be it would flow in like that, and
Right.
it would hit the bears. There's no other way around that. Some of the bears would get hit as well.
Right.
But you could definitely float like that if you'd like to.
Right. That's what she wants to do.
Okay.
And
She kind of brings her hands up and then just claps her hands and forces it toward the water towards the genie. It flows through. As he's attempting to get up, there's just a torrent of water floods into him and he tumbles backwards. You just hear no as the genie is forced back into the gate from the torrent of water and passes through into the elemental plane of air. The bears, unfortunately, also all three of the bears, unfortunately, are also all thrown into
It's
the
a necessary sacrifice.
and Talar slowly stands.
We are now out of initiative. And with that, we're going to call it a night there because some people do have to get up very early in the morning. So we're going to call it at that, unfortunately. That was very well done, and that was a very creative use there of controlled water. I wasn't expecting that, I will be deadly honest. That was a very, very good use of controlled water.
I had to try it. I wanted to try something, and it was something different, and yeah.
He failed, because he was prone, he had disadvantage on the saves, and he failed badly.
Good.
But no, that was very well done, Talar. Well done. That was very creative, and I'm just going to go out of the way and say this out of game just because I want you guys to know. Damage immunities: lightning and thunder. So all that lightning damage, nothing, unfortunately. So
I'm glad I did not persist.
yeah, and I was kind of hoping you would. I was really hoping you would, oh no, maybe he's only got resistant to lightning damage. Let's keep going. No, you decided not to, and I was kind of disappointed. But then that lightning bolt at 6th level is just all this damage is going to be nothing. Yay! I love
I hope
the
there's
DM.
repercussions.
You'll find out. Maybe. Possibly.
I have a recurring villain, maybe.
Quite possibly. Anyway, very quickly.
Bears will just disappear when they cross over into another plane of existence, wouldn't they? Or
You're not sure. You've never actually had them cross over to another plane of existence since you've cast them, so you don't know if they will remain there and then like fade once the spell ends, or if they will just fade back to the Feywild, since they're Fey
Picturing
creatures.
Three bears flying through like some weird tornado.
It's a maelstrom. They're getting torn to pieces.
Well, it could be something like dropped into a gentle plane with a gentle breeze. It could be a class 1 tornado, class 5. It could be a full blown maelstrom. A hurricane could be going. It's a multitude of different things which could be affecting the bears and the genie now and the mephits, but you don't know where you'd end up landing.
Out of character, I kind of hope he fell into a giant maelstrom.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
I'm not going in.
Anyway, I will be right back, guys, as we end tonight's session. So I will be right back.